Aubrey still ain't played a game for the Jays.
Not that I know. Just let it go, Neil. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show. That right there on, yeah, there she is your girl, Dara, in the lovely baby blue. I am Sharif, and we're going to wait for everyone to come on over from the other stream, which I don't have loaded, Adara, so I think you're going to have to do the shout-out today. I knew I had something that I forgot. That is just typically, you know, what I do. I always forget one thing on the day. So do we have the people coming in? Oh, let's go.
Chantel Saint, you, Picky Eater, Max Trades and Investing, JC Finance, Ryan, Andrew Chow, MM, Robert Isaac, FFTB, Stupid Bitcoin, Peta Panda, Fonzie, C. Hoon, The Piper, Joshua Walker, Stupid Bitcoin, Glitch Ops, Menesh, Mahat, Naps, Trixie, B. Kyle Burdett, JF Trader, Daryl Flint, D. Poppin Short, Julia C. Solo Cristo, Trinity 3R, Paul Mulligan, and of course Bears vs. Bulls. Thank you so much to everything you do, Bears vs. Bulls. Mr. Lisa J&M, Day Trader Cut, Cutco Kareem, Smita Patel, Kareem Anwar, lots of Kareems here in the chat, I love it. Anthony, so many people here. Kyle Burdett approved also of the way I said big Kyle Burdett, so please just punch about that. Also, please just punch to get into these here markets. Thank you guys so much for all being here. Not as well versed in the roll call as Sharif, but
I think you did fantastic. I think you did fantastic. Shout out to you, Daryl. Welcome everybody. What a day it has been. In case you're just joining us, Meta's been on watch. Nvidia's been on watch. Obviously, we got Google and Microsoft on watch as well as they report after the bell, and that's what I've got loaded up right now. The soft one, just before we get to the lesson of the day. I was looking for a possible dip trade here, long on Softy at 390. We had these topping till candles that came into 390, and we rejected beautifully off that 20-period moving average, curling back down. I had a resting order like at 390.05, didn't get triggered. It looks as if, you know, this one might not make it all the way back down into that $10 level. We'll keep an eye on Softy. Meta getting a beautiful bounce off the volume-weighted average price there. If you were resting at that 328, well, you're 5 smackaroos in the money, because it looks like it might be headed back into that 440 area or thereabouts. We'll keep eyes on that. Google at an interesting area here. The 200 period on the 5, I'll be looking to short goggles at that level. It's down 2.7% in sympathy with Meta. Yeah, with Meta. And the stressful one on the way up today, near high days at the moment, 166 1/3 is where the HOD is. On TSLA, we're at 165 3/4, up 2.25%. So good luck. Lots moving around today, guys, in these markets. So we shall keep an eye on them while we do the lesson du jour, Dara. So let's start talking about that. Oh, you had something to say.
Before we do that, though, we are going to talk about our sponsor. Thank you so much to Kalshi. Have you ever wanted to trade in events that directly relate to companies and the economy? Kalshi is the first legal financial exchange in the U.S. where you can bet on any event. Ever wondered if TikTok will be banned, how many cars Tesla will ship this quarter, or what a new movie's Rotten Tomatoes score will be? Now you can use Kalshi to put your predictions to the test and trade in what you really know. Visit kalshi.com/tradertv to sign up today and grab a $20 bonus after depositing $50 exclusively for the first 500 people using promo code TraderTV. It's easy to get started. Choose an event, like whether Boeing will have a new CEO this year, currently priced at 76%. Buy 100 shares at 76 cents each, and if Boeing announces a new CEO by the end of the year, you cash out $100 on your $76 bet. Don't just watch the news, profit from it. Join Kalshi's 100,000 users and dive into diverse markets, make your moves, and potentially profit from global events. Kalshi.com/TraderTV.
Profit, baby, profit. That's what we want to talk about today. But the way to get to those profits is vis-a-vis this scalping. What's going on up there?
This is what it means. This means interpretation of this lesson.
I like that. Okay. Did you put that in the AI? I'm assuming, obviously, scalping the horns. I love it. That's a sick one, Ram. Shout out to you. Okay. All right, guys. Scalping the bull flag, capturing fleeting profits in a bull flag setup. Let's talk all about it. The bull flag, as we mentioned, beckons with its promise of an uptrend. But what's going on, Katina, man, before I continue? The Katina Man, $7 in the money on which trade? There was been so many. Meta VWAP trade. He's long now, so I love this. He's like stressed out from all the profits. It's fantastic. Well, I know you were fighting with Meta back and forth. I know. All good. All right, let's get back into the lesson. So the bull flag beckons with its promise of an uptrend, but who says you have to wait for the big move? Scalping offers a way to capitalize on short-term price fluctuations within the bull flag pattern. That's what we're going to talk about today. In case you haven't joined us before and heard my friend to the left over here say the word scalpulation, she means scalping. And scalping, is, in essence, is basically trying to take small amounts of, I don't want to say profits, small amounts of price moves, usually with a bit bigger of share size to make up for the lack of the bigger move. So imagine a butterfly flitting from flower to flower, gathering nectar. Scalping is similar in essence. You aim to capture small, quick profits from tiny price movements within a trading range. And that's essentially what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about that obviously within the context of the bull flag. So the bull flag, your scalping playground, or so to speak. So the bull flag within its defined range, okay? Think of it as kind of a flower garden, providing you with the perfect environment for scalping. The consolidation phase is where you're going to do the scalping, not the big pull. So if you're unfamiliar with what the bull flag looks like, this is kind of what it looks like, right? You have a big up move and then a sideways movement here within like a consolidation range. There's usually a pretty definable top and a pretty definable bottom. And so you're going to work within this range over here, not the breakout. We're not talking about momentum now. We're talking about the range scalping on the bull flag. That is kind of what we want to get our mind around today. So let's talk about some of the strategies to scalp these bad boys. So there are various approaches to scalping within a bull flag. The first and foremost, the easiest one that we can kind of articulate is the support and resistance scalp. So what you're doing here is you're identifying the upper and the lower trend lines, like I showed you over here. You see the upper and the lower trend line. You're going to identify those on the flag, and you can buy near the support line on the bottom and sell near resistance. Conversely, you can also sell at the upper support line and buy near the bottom for the short. That's all you're doing there, okay? And one thing I want to mention, if the bull flags consolidation top and bottom also happen to conflate with better areas of support and resistance for that name, all the better. For example, if we were somehow to have a bull flag in a 200 on Apple and the resistance area on the bull flag, I'm just giving you a random example, was 200, all the better that it has, you know, that key area of technical resistance on the wider time frame. There's also moving averages that we can use to scalp within the consolidation phase of the bull flag. So use short-term moving averages like the 7, the 10, the 14 or the 15, whatever what you're using, to identify potential entry and exit points. But when the price crosses when the price crosses above the moving average, indicating upward momentum, and then sell when it falls below, signaling a potential pullback. In case you're wondering what this style of trade is, this moving average crossing to buy and then crossing down to sell, essentially these are what they call mechanical trading systems that use moving averages. Do a quick Google search on that and it should, I kind of explain it to you a little bit better. Mechanical trading systems that use moving averages. But there's also price action, right? That you can identify how to get in and get out in the consolidation phase. So observe how the price reacts on the edges of the flag, like the top and the bottom, if there's no clearly defined support and resistance. Look for quick reversals after touching the trend line that you've drawn, obviously, allowing you to enter and exit positions based on these short-term movements. So price action also plays a large part here. But beyond the basics, guys, we really need to talk about the actual nuances of trading intraday using the bull flag setup. It's fast-paced, man. I mean, you're going to have to make quick decisions, and that's really where the challenge comes in. Scalping requires constant monitoring and quick decision-making. It's not for the faint of heart. I can tell you personally, just from experience, knowing what this floor, the traders on this floor, there aren't too many very profitable scalpers. It is a tough business, okay? and small profits. Scalping deals with tiny price movements, so profits generally are small. Consistent execution is the key to building gains, but you need to keep that in mind. The fact that your profits are likely going to be a little bit smaller than the bigger price moves. So on the other side of the equation, your losses need to be equally as small so that you can weigh them out. There's no point in eating like a bird and pooping like an elephant, okay? And that's one I really want to keep saying, because I think it describes that perfectly. You have 10 good winners and one monster loser, but your monster loser is like 2 times the size of your 10 big winners. That doesn't help nobody. So keep that in mind. And trading fees. This is a legitimate thing, especially for traders who are at home. Scalping involves frequent trades, and trading fees can eat into your profits. Choose a platform or brokerage with lower trading fees. I know on the floor here, it'll cost me a few pennies to get into like 100 shares of, say, Meta or whatever, Tesla. So for us here, it's not a big thing. In fact, sometimes when we use certain gateways, we get money back because we add liquidity into the market. So it's not an issue for us, but it likely will be an issue for you guys at home. I know on my brokerage, to get into 100 shares of Meta is going to cost me $1. So imagine doing that over and over and over and over on the day, and then all of a sudden you find yourself with a $20, $25 bill for commissions. And also, last but not least, beware of breakouts. Because the bull flag formation can also lead to a breakout, which it kind of supposed to, be careful when scalping against the overwhelming trend. For example, going short at the top of the flag formation and then having that continuation of the bull flag basically manifest where you got short, been there. So yeah, keep that in mind. By definition, the bull flag typically continues up the same distance that the initial bull flag was, and if that is the case, you always need to be aware of the breakout at the top end of the range, especially if you're shorting. Not so much if you're going long on the bottom end of the range, because then you'll continue through the top. But if you're shorting at the top end, be aware of breakouts. And a bonus tip here, guys, combine scalping strategies with other technical indicators like order flow analysis. Keep that your eye on the book and the tape to gauge buying and selling pressure, potentially enhancing your entry and exiting positions.
Yeah, that was, I love the way you said that. It was like amazing. And also, yeah, no, it is, I find too, I want to touch on what you said about profitable scalping. I think it's really important as well to know what type of person you are, because I find when I don't scalp, that's when I have my worst days. And so for, you know, for me at least, I'm not saying like, oh, I'm like, you know, this method that's harder. I'm just saying that for me, it's something that I'm more attuned to because of my personality type. You know what I mean? I'm not patient, so I like to get in and out of these moves quickly. And so I had to understand that to find a trading style that works best for me. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, I think understanding what type of person you are and what type of trading environment you're more comfortable with is pretty key as well. So I just wanted to touch on that.
I
like that
completely agree 100% with that.
Also, I do have 2 scalps that I want to talk about and I'm pleased as punch about. But also, Picky Eater mentioning the bull flag, so we're going to start with that. Tesla, a bull flag on 5-minute. Let's see. I will say that's the reason I didn't go short on Tesla, where I did go short in Nvidia. But yeah, so I'll look at Tesla, not TSLA. So Tesla, I don't know necessarily a bull flag, but I did see what you were seeing on this. In terms of we had this big flagpole moment, then we had this chop and turn, then we start to consolidate a little bit at the top. We had that big topping tail candle up into 167. I was like, maybe this is a short. But I think whether or not you want to label this a bull flag, and I think this is important to note, not everything is always going to manifest in a certain way, but whether or not you label this as a bull flag, there was that upward momentum, a little bit of consolidation where it could have looked like it was going to, you know, stagnate, pause a little bit, then it pushes higher. So I think that's a nice look there for TSLA. And I do see what you're seeing. I don't know, again, I'm not sure like the bull flag manifestation in the 5, not necessarily there, but definitely we had that move up. So I just wanted to address that because great call from you, Picky Eater. Also, I was really, this is the type of scalping I need to be having in my life, I have to say. Bless you. Getting short near that 33 area because I saw that topping tail candle and lower high. So to me, this is a bit more of a bearish look than Tesla. And I said, where am I going to get out on this NVDL? Where we had that earlier top, right? Support can become resistance. So we scalped 10 pennies. Then I did it again because we came back in. I watched us fail that 33. I said, Adara, just do it again. So we be like Nike and just do it. I got short like 32.96, I think, took it to about 32.86. So please just punch with that trade. That is the type of scalping I need in my life right now. I was saying to Sharif as well when I was looking over the lesson this morning, it was like invigorating me, it was motivating me, because I've said the last couple of days I've not been scalping enough, and the market has made me pay for it.
That's okay.
So that's what I need in my life.
And that's why you have another trading day to make up for that whole thing, and you're going to scalp. It's going to be Scalpulation Nation today. Okay, so shout out to Adara, baby.
How's your trade going?
It's good. We just wet our beak on some profits on the Tqqs. I'm looking now short Softy. Reason being, here, let me explain to you what my crazy thinking is here. I already got a resting order at 393 to short the soft one. And the reason is it's down almost 4%. And it had a beautiful rejection off that 20 period earlier. I'm looking for a rinse and repeat on that. If it works out, great. If not, we're going to take the L on it. But I'm looking at here, I'm sitting at 393 exactly to get short. That might be a problem for me because it may not make it up there. Last time around, it did have a couple of, punctures through that 20 period to the top side, but so it looks as if we are short now. So let's see what the situation is going to be here for the software, and we're short 392.96. Let's go ahead and put our beak wetter at that $0.75 area. If it does make its way down there, I'd be pleased as dang punch. But if it doesn't, well, then we're going to have to take that punch in the face. But we're doing well here on the future. On the way down, we're short 51.18s. Just took a profit there at 7s, and now it's at 5s. Let's see if it can break 51. I'd be pleased as punch as well, but it looks as if the soft one is fighting with that 393 there, so I'm going to send it to you to put my out.
Indeed, yeah, that Tqqq shirt, I really like that. So I'm happy somebody took that because I was too busy scalping my NVDL. So nice look on that. Also, I want to point out another chart. I was talking recently. I was like, does anyone know any like meta ETFs, like a metal or a MET? Turns out there's an FBL, and this is the Facebook long ETF there. Of course, right now it is to the downside with its big sister Meta. But this one's interesting. I noticed you can't short this because I was trying to short this into this area. So this one a little bit more tricky to short. But this FBL, I was looking for potentially a range play off that VWAP bounce. We didn't get it, so I'm not getting involved. But I just wanted to bring that to your attention. If you want to trade Meta, but you do not want to meddle with Meta's expensive trading there, FBL is under $20 right now, so just wanted to put that out there so you can take a look. Oddly enough, same initials as Facebook Live, which is kind of funny there. But yeah, FBL. Remember when Facebook had shows? That's crazy to me. Facebook used to have shows.
Like TV shows?
Yeah, because I remember there was this show. It was like a remake of a Norwegian show, and it was like the American remake. And for some reason, they didn't last very long. But they like premiered and stuff and showed on Facebook. So weird like thing I just remembered there because I was like, why is the show on Facebook? But yeah, interesting stuff there. Facebook having TV, market going down. I saw you pump your fist. So
I did. I'm out of what's it called? The Tqqs. We wet our beak there nicely for a 20-penny winner. Down goes Softy. Go down. I'm looking for maybe a 392 touch here if we end up getting a good trade here on the soft one. We already wet our beak on some profits for a 25-penny winner at the $0.75 level. That's already out, so we're going to nurse the rest here and look for a 392 drop down. It is finding at least momentary resistance at the 393 level. That has a lot to do, in my opinion, with the fact that the 20 period is there. Don't care why it's rejecting off the 20 period. Absolutely do not give a you know what. But the fact of the matter is, it is rejecting off that level and was earlier. So there it goes again. Down goes Softy into that $0.50 level. I'll be looking to take some profits, hopefully, at the 392 or thereabouts level. We'll see exactly what kind of resistance or support, we run into on this way down here. So nice trade right now on the soft one, looking for a little bit more. The Hayes Records, what's up, the Hayes? I haven't seen you in a minute, homie. Scalped 5 points on the E-mini, this recent bounce long on a sounds good. Shout out to you, my man. You take the E-mini, I take the Tqqs. Same idea. Looks like you probably profit a little bit more than I did. Shout out to you, the Hayes Records. All right, keeping my eye still on the soft one now as we come down into that $0.33. We're 60 some odd pennies in the money now. Let's see if we can get out here. If it dips into that $0.25, I'll likely flatten. Here, the $0.33 still acting as a level of support right now. So I'm just going to try to pack my patience, Adira.
Yeah, I just was motivated by this lesson. We're just scalping. I am so proud of this. I got involved here off that bounce on Tesla around that 697 on TSLA. It is going to be, let me get the level on its big sister TSLA. TSLA, that level is going to be 166. I love that bounce. I said, Adara, if you don't bounce in now, it's going to bounce out without you. So I just had to take that opportunity. We're half a penny away from our final exit at 702. I feel very invigorated by this scalping here. Again, these aren't huge trades, but I did take this with more size than I normally would, just because it was something I felt confident in. I was going to risk about 2 pennies there going to that 695 area, so I'm pleased as punch with this. We're going to get the rest out now, though, because I don't like that little drop here. And I know Sharif and I were actually having this conversation off camera this morning, saying, can we still call Tesla stressful? Because it's not as stressful lately, but that move back was. So there we go. Scalps everything out for a profit. Pleased as dang punch. Ready to see what else this market has to offer me. But I want to look at some other stuff people are looking at here as well. BFRH, Barfresh. I know that one. I believe also Luis Barbados was mentioning this one as well. Yeah, right now, I wasn't seeing any news on this. I took a look for this, and if I remember correctly, there wasn't a super impulsive short float or anything, because I did take a look at this in the big desk. I'm going to clarify that. No news. Let's look at our float on this guy, which is, again, going to be Barfresh, BFRH. Here are the deets, or sorry, BRFH. The deets for you guys are, it's 51% insider owned. So it's like an ARM type situation where there's a lot of insider ownership. So a little bit more, float a little bit more.
Ram, can you show her chart? Because I want to comment on something.
Yeah.
How beautiful is that VWAP rejection?
I was going to say.
Right? I mean, it's a little tougher, in my opinion, my humble opinion, to short small cap gappers, especially with short floats, because you can get wiped out real quick. And that's why I don't do it. But that kind of almost wants to entice you to trade these small cap gappers that break down. We are now out of our softy trade. We got out at the third of a dollar. It wasn't breaking into the quarter of a dollar. I'm happy about this trade. I wish I would have taken it the first time around at the 20 period, because it gave you a 5-banger. Now you're struggling to get a 1-banger on this particular one. It could still retrace, and if it does, then we're gonna watch that. Now, the reason why I was a little hesitant to hold on to this one a little bit longer is because we had reclaimed the volume weighted average price. So I talked about the fact that this one was really respecting the 20 as a resistance level on the day on the 5-minute chart. Don't know why, and I really don't care. The point, though, is that it was a little bit more anemic on its descent this time around than it was earlier. So that's number one. Number two, it looks like it might be respecting VWAP and the 20 period. Look at these prints over here that used VWAP as support and then the 20 period as resistance. So I was worried that we would get into a really tight range with the 20 period to the top side at 393 and 392 at VWAP to the downside, kind of that $1 range scalp. And that's not what you want to do on the soft one, right? It's just too expensive to range for $1. Maybe some people can do it. Maybe I got out of this too quickly. But the point of the matter is, it feels like the range was tightening up a little bit here, especially with the higher lows. A bit of a compression pattern. We'll see. I mean, it does look like a bear flag. This does look like a bear flag. Not a bear flag, sorry, a bear pennant. And the reason is you have that big move down. You have compression, lower highs, higher lows. And so typically, the bear flag resolves in the direction of the trend, which is to the downside. So I'll keep eyes on this one. We'll see if we can get something better out of it. It's knocking the door of 392 right now, so it does look like I got out a little too early on the soft one, but a good look nonetheless. The other one that I want to talk about is AAPL. So this one was awfully strong earlier, but it's since given up the ghost. That 170 rejection was a little bit emboozling. So you guys know I'm in the sim in the morning because I'm doing all these like practice test trades based upon my charting the night before. And so I was looking at this 170 level here on Apple, and I was like, okay, so I set up a trade in the sim to take 170 short on Apple. And I got cut up on this. I had to average into this a couple of times because it wasn't so cut and dry. If you were just waiting at 170 and said, okay, I'll give it 25 pennies, you got stopped out. Okay, I'll give it 50 pennies, you got stopped out. So you had to either DCA into this in order to get, a better cost basis and keep you in the game, or you had to be uber precise with your entry. Otherwise, you got cut up and you probably got stopped out unless you got involved again on the break of 170 South. So Apple has a really good top off which we can play, but that isn't the trade right now. The trade is, for whatever reason, there is support at this 168.50. And there has been on AAPL going on the over an hour and 10 minutes. So the first time we touched it here was 10:15, we bounced. We touch it again, 10:25, we bounce. And then we've been touching it. There's been harassment at this level here from 10:50 onwards, right? I didn't say the other one, but yeah, you guys know what I mean. Essentially, there is a 168.50. However, keep in mind the lower highs that keep coming into play. This could absolutely be
I love when you
flat
don't
bottom
say
break.
it, you just like have it there. You're like, it will speak for itself.
right? You got to pause for effect. No, but really though, 168.50, a level here on the 5-minute on AAPL. Let's see how this resolves. You could also look to take short either off the 50 or the 20. There's been deeper retracements into 50. The shallower retracements have all rejected off the 20. I'm keeping my eye on 168.50. I want to see how this resolves.
Yeah, so I had another NVDL scalp. Please just punch, took about 10 pennies. I realize these are small profits, I want to clarify, but it's just, I'm trying to get more into the habit, especially because I do like scalping, of taking these positions that I'm comfortable with. Some of these scalps are going to be like slightly larger position size, still very much within my risk management capabilities, and just kind of having the practice to say, hey, where am I going to get out? How much do I want to take? Like this type of candle action is what I want, just kind of getting out at the top, getting in at the top for the short, getting out at the bottom, or vice versa if I'm in a long. This NVDL might continue to be tasty, though, because we just broke below that 9 EMA. So if we keep seeing ranges darting in and out, I'm going to get involved. I will not take this as a breakdown, though, just because that's not really my bag. That's not a trade I'm comfortable with. So we're going to have to wait and see on this. Also, smack my bid up mentioning Sofi, which I was looking at earlier, saying it's looking to break a diamond pattern. This is interesting. Yeah, we had that bounce here off that 9 EMA, or sorry, that VWAP area. I was looking at this earlier, and I was like, maybe it's a short from 740 to 736, but that definitely is tightening up here. I see what you mean. Smack my bid up. I think it's getting a little bit tighter. Mahmoud asking if I consider exploring 0-day to expiry options. If you love scalping, you could make a killing. Thank you for pointing that out. I honestly not as familiar with options. It's something I want to do some more research on. But I know 0-day to expiry are like pretty popular from my limited awareness. So thank you very much for pointing that out there, Mahmoud. Also, what else is happening here as well? Thank you, Jimmy Cassius, for the kind words. You guys are all the best. I'm so happy to be here. What else is happening? Oh yeah, what time frames is System Pro FX? That was the 5-minute.
I just want to cover a couple of stocks for some people who are asking. Roku, I see you. NK, I see you. Let's have a look at Roku. You said earnings coming for Roku?
Tonight.
Tonight, thank you, Adara. Appreciate that. Let's pop Roku up. What is being expected here? Let's just see if the analysts are bullish or bearish on the Roku. Okay, so dropped. What are they looking at here? Okay. Well, I'll read this after. I won't bore you guys with fundamentals. I know we all about technicals up in this place. So let's go ahead and have a look at Roku. Why does this chart keep changing on me like every day, bro? What's going on up in this? You know what? There it is. This is the chart I'm looking for. Okay, because I want to see the RSI and my lines and everything. Okay, so Roku, not a bad look on the day. Where are we at here? 0.42. We just, we're a little bit red. 61, let's call it 61.80. The closing print yesterday on Roku. How has been the trend on Roku? Have analysts been buying it into earnings or selling? Let's have a look at the daily quickly here. Okay, so it looks as if it's been flat as it can get. Ever since it released earnings last time around here in Feb, when we really aggressively sold off that 100, and it's been awfully consolidative. I mean, for the better part of a while, the bottom here on Roku was, say, 62 bucks, okay? With the high at like 66. The bottom came off a little bit, and the trend has changed a little bit. So it looks as if analysts were selling Roku into earnings here after being quite, dead. Let's just be real. For a while. Basically, ever since it dropped down from February 21st till April 1st, this thing did very, very little. From April 1st on, we started making lower highs and lower lows, and we've kind of been using that 20 period almost as resistance on a couple of occasions, breaking through it the last couple of days. It does look like Roku had a really good day the day before yesterday. So that could be a bit of a change in sentiment. Look, a bit of a tougher look here. You obviously have that key area of resistance at 66 or 65, but if this does well, you really do have a nice gap to fill here into 85. You could even see 100. That's where we were at $100 last time earnings came around for Roku. But yeah, I got to tell you, I don't really believe in this company, but every time I say I don't believe in it, it really does well. So what the hell do you care what I think? But anyway, we'll keep eyes on Roku today, and we'll look at Tina, man. Thanks, bro. As long as you care, that's really what I'm going for. No, seriously. We'll see what Roku does. Now, Holo. People were telling me HOLO is making moves. So let's have a look at the Holo. You guys want to come to the screen? Calm down, Ram. I'm loading it. So 15% to the good. Ram wouldn't put the screen on because she didn't see Holo. It's like, Ram, take it easy.
I saw this. There's no Holo on there.
All right, let's load up Holo. It's doing things here at Dara, popping up 15 somewhat % on the day. Very bull flaggish at the moment. Off that 2 1/3 close from yesterday, it knocked on the door of 3, but alas, nobody opened. 287 HOD, trading above the volume-weighted average price right now, a smidge below the $0.75. Possible dip trades to be had here off the 20. I know I keep mentioning the 20, but it keeps showing up. Look at all these dip trades here. Every single deeper retracement has bounced off the 20. I wouldn't be inclined to get something on VWAP. It's been puncturing VWAP to the downside. It seems as if it's respecting the 20. We'll see what we get. But I got to tell you, the last few times Holo started running, it like faded out on the day. So I don't really have too much that I want to say about this one.
Yeah, Holo has been certainly a weird one. It'll run like crazy for no reason, and then it'll be like, I remember one day I said to Sharif, I was at the big desk in the morning getting the email ready. It was like, oh, Holo's running. And you were like, oh, it's up like 20%. Yeah, then a couple hours later, the thing's up over 200%.
Yeah,
so
remember
Holo
that?
is like, yeah, it's a weirdo. It's a strange little dude.
It is.
Also, have I done anything since last talking? No, I'm sorry I'm not in anything right now, guys. I'm just really trying to be scalpier and make sure I see stuff I like. I have my eye on Ford, though. I really like this. We had that earlier support area. We rejected that 1274. I should have taken it, but I did. I was like, maybe we're curling up, but in retrospect, it's like lower highs, lower lows, Adara. This is a short. Come on now. So with that in mind, I am actually going to set a rip short. Instead of a dip buy, it's going to be a rip short for that 74 level. And if we break above here into that 77s, we're getting out. We're risking 3 pennies, trying to make minimum 6. So I'm okay with that risk reward. It's about 2 to 1 actually. So not bad for me. SMCI getting mentioned here by Zach Frack. So let's take a look at SMCI. Oh, okay, this is nice. SMCI, this is a bull flag. This is a bull flag. That flag pull, chop and churn, a little bit of a swoop up, then we continue to the upside. Now, though, we could break below that 9 EMA after a nice steady stream of higher highs and higher lows. For whatever reason, that 774 area seems to be a level of rejection for SMCI. Let's see what we're doing on the daily. I know this chart is going to be wild. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. This is definitely, we've kind of given up the ghost a little bit, to use a Sharifism. Lower highs, lower lows. We're going to have to wait and see what SMCI gives to us. But yeah, I mean, in my opinion, it does seem like we're having some resistance, at least on this intraday, and yeah, for that 774, because we keep having a bit of a struggle with that level. Thank you very much, Carrie Weaver, for the compliment. Carrie Weaver also saying to you, Sharif, I care what you think. I think you're very informative. So thank you so much for all the support there, Carrie. Thank you guys so much, everyone, for being in the chat. Always love being here and seeing different opinions. Man, Nvidia is falling off here a little bit. Below that earlier support at 814, does not care. Trying to break below 810, which, wow, was at a level earlier. So this could get a little bit spicy and dicey in NVDA.
I love it. The dead one is dying, Adara, and not in the good way, as in consolidative. No, it is on the way down. Apple is breaking down here below that support level that we talked about at 168.50, and it's dying down aggressively. Here comes the whole dollar at 168. We could see that awfully soon. 17s now, LOD. Keep your eye on this trough area over here. So this was the pre-market low, but this was on news, right? Because we had all the economic numbers come out at 8:30, and the market started trending down. That is until 9:15, when I guess traders, because it looks like it is traders because we're selling off, started getting involved in AAPL, pushed that one up into almost $2 and 2/3 into 170.61. I'll be looking for a defend at 168 on AAPL, but I'm not going to have a resting order there. I'd like to see how it jives with the 168 whole dollar area before I commit to the trade. So that's number one. We're going to keep our eye out on Apple. But there's a reason Apple started tanking, and that was because we had an interesting 17.4 rejection here. We got into 17.409, moved aggressively down into 17.357 or thereabouts, holding that 50-point area. We are putting in higher lows, but we also have lower highs on the future. But it is looking, I don't want to say bear flaggish, but we do have a move down with a compression. Not a flag, sorry, a pennant, because it's a compression. Anyway, we're below the volume-weighted average price right now on the future, so I'll keep that. I'm not inclined to try and take another rejection off 17.4. I'd rather play one of these equity names. What's going on there, Katina Man? The Katina Man is long 427, but he just took some out at 430. What on Meta? Yes, Meta. 432. So the Katina Man is essentially long at these levels over here. Have a look. So this is where Meta basically troughed out at. That was the low there, right at the 50 period, and look where it is right now. I mean, we just knocked on the door of almost 433. We got to 432, and a third shout out to the Katina Man. I will be looking for another curl up, possibly here, into 444s. I don't know. We're getting lower highs, so we'll see if this trend ends up staying in place over here. All right, we can get these lower highs, curl off that upper resistance line. We shall see. Lots to trade today. There's no shortage of stuff moving, so we'll keep an eye on that. And the strong one, even though it's down over 2%, is goggles. Look at that V-shaped retracement off that 151 bounce. Technically, it got down into 150.87, but it is an absolute V-shaped retracement. In fact, it just took out the pre-market highs, well above that 4 a.m. top that we put in, or what was that? That was a 5:50 a.m. top at 155. We're on our way into 156 at pivots right now. There's some clapping next to me and some aggressive happiness. So what's going on over there?
We scalped this long off the TQs. I'm so proud of this. I watched that VWAP bounce. We had that rejection earlier there. Then we were kind of having that movement up and down off of this. I have no faith that this trade will last very long because it's the futures. If we take 25s, I'll be pleased as punch. Why 25s? Because look at that little area early. That was a bit of a resistance area earlier. So I have no problem taking 25s. Just 6 pennies, TQQs. You can do it. I will life coach you. I will motivational speak you. I believe in your abilities. Not a lot of volume here on the upside, but we just need a couple pennies there, TQQs. You got this. I feel like a football coach. Just one more down. There we go. Okay, we're out. Please just punch. With that trade. Also, PLTR, Self-Ability wants to look at PLTR here. Let me see what your question was specifically on that. PLTR on the way down, Quadunk, yeah, I can't, yeah, okay. So PLTR definitely down on the day, but we had this nice, honestly, 1, 2, 3, I'm not even gonna count how many green candles. That is a plethora, to use a Sharifism, of green candles there. Then we see some resistance at 1250. We come down here to this 1222 level, and now, honestly, we're kind of seeing a steady move to the upside. For me, I have to be honest with you, I'm not seeing a lot of Quaduk potential right now because we're above that 9 EMA. Now, if that changes, things get interesting, but we did just get, this was, to be fair, this was a bearish candle here coming down into 2130, but look at that wick to the downside. Oh. To me, this wick, and then coming back up to rest above the 9 EMA says, hey, sellers, not yet. Not yet, sellers. Hold your horses. The bulls are still in charge right now. Maybe they're scalping bulls like that lovely image Ramin made, but they are indeed bulls. And so to me, I think honestly, and again, this is, take this how you will, unless we really make a decisively lower high here, we continue to move to the downside, then I think that will be, that'll be a little bit more of a sign. But yeah, Self-Ability, I think that for me right now, the fact that we're above this 9 EMA and there has been that nice continued movement to the upside, to me, a sign that we could have continued upward momentum. Sorry we didn't get to see your question right away. Hope that helps. Also, though, if this keeps happening, this 21.35 to 21.40, there could maybe be some scalp potential for me. I'm going to have to keep an eye on that. But yeah, shout out to you. Thank you very much there. Self-ability. NVDL. What are you? Or I'll switch to NVDA, of course, because why not? So this is interesting. I was looking for that bounce off that 810, and we sort of got it. Not perfectly, mind you, but I still think, and I said this, I think as long as we're below that 9 EMA, heading to the downside, I think this could be an interesting area, you know, below that 9 EMA. So if we come back, I love support resistance areas. So, and NVDL and NVDA have been handling it pretty nicely. So I like that 32.69 area to take out that short earlier. That was an area we had a little bit of bounce. If we reject off of it, 32.69, which for reference on NVDA is going to be roughly 8.15. That's not a perfect translation, but roughly 8.15. I think I will want all the smoke. Not just some, not just a lot, all of the smoke.
All of it.
What are you looking at?
I'm looking at FBL. Thank you for pointing that out. I'm keeping an eye on Meta because there is this trend line that I've drawn, and I'm kind of happy with it and how it looks, and I want to see if it rejects off it. So we've been putting in these lower highs on Meta. It was an absolutely beautiful bounce off the volume-weighted average price, but subsequent to that, we made a new low. We did hold up at 426, don't care why, but the fact of the matter is there is a new low that got printed there. And so if we do start curling down here, I want to play this name. So I'm going to keep eyes on META, and we'll trade FBL in case people are wondering what that is all about. That is essentially,
Oh, I think you have to pay for shorts.
Oh, no.
Yeah, sorry about that. I thought I didn't. I realized that after we were live.
You tried? Did you try shorting?
Tried.
Okay, that's fine. That's cool. We'll have to trade Meta then. That's fine. I just want to take a bit more share size, but that's no worries. Let's flip back to the Meta. Hold on, one sec.
Yeah. No.
Oh. Which trend line are you talking about, Neil? Okay, let's bring it up over here. Are you talking about Meta? So, which one are you talking? What color? The yellow one. That's the 20 period. The trend line. Yeah. So the trend line there is 431.73. Oh, that's the percentage. Okay, so what you can do with this program is you can drag from here to there, and it tells you what percentage move that is. Yeah, that's basically what that is. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, actually, good call out, Neil, so everybody else can know. Yeah, well, we're rejecting off that level on Meta, as I expected, really. There it is. So we're rejecting off 432. Comes right back down into 430.83, so you could have scalped a nice buck on that. But alas, it is not tanking. So it did put in a bit of a doji candle here, so I could still absolutely be wrong on there. So let's keep an eye on Meta. I do like these lower high setups. Whether or not it manifests into another down move, entirely different story. Self-ability M, $10 super chat. I'm assuming that is to you, Adara, because you were addressing their question. They say thank you.
Oh, yeah. Well, you are welcome, and thank you so much for your super chat and for your support in the show and for bringing up that Palantir, because Palantir is one we don't look a lot at when we talk about AI, which is kind of weird because they are a big AI name. So thank you very much for bringing that to our attention. Also AI, yes, I'm still looking at scalping Nvidia, but I don't have anything to say about this right now, so we're going to ignore that. Also, Baba, someone was mentioning Baba there.
Baba?
So Baba Black Sheep, have you any longs? I've used that one before too. I can't even claim originality on that, but
why not?
This,
it's still fun.
I appreciate that. This is interesting to me on Baba. We had that nice move up here. We get into 70, almost 75. Shout out to Neil for having this long earlier. Then we have this gorgeous VWAP bounce, and then a lower high. Look at this 74.70, and the way it forms too. To me, this is like, it doesn't give you right away that rejection. It has a couple candles saying, hey, if you're in a long, maybe we're gonna have a little bit of a turbulence here. Then we dip to the downside. I want to see what we do with the 9 EMA because that's a level I like, and also right now it's kind of coinciding with that pre-market area we had right before the open around that 74.60. But then of course I'm going to want to see what we do at VWAP. If this ends up ranging around VWAP with a bounce, that could be something I look at personally. But that is my take on this trade. But apple and raisin pancake with powdered sugar, I love that name. Adara, can you ask IBM what it's up to? I mean, of course I can. You know what I mean? IBM. Okay, so IBM, I made that sound because there's a little bit of a range. It's not perfect, mind you, but you have that 166.80 up into usually a VWAP projection here, that 167.70, so it's about a 90 penny range, not too shabby at all. We did have that brief break above VWAP, which could have, had some people a little bit scared. It definitely would have had me scared if I was in a short around there, let me tell you. But it's interesting too because we do reject off that area that was near, we kind of opened in the pre-market, consolidated a bit, right? That 165, 168.50. So to me, that's interesting. Since that break above VWAP, mind you, we've had lower highs, lower lows. If we break below the support area, I think RIP the range. But yeah, right now, I think honestly, apple and raisin pancake with powdered sugar. Right now, IWM is kind of up to deciding what direction it wants to go, and it doesn't know what it wants to be when it grows up yet. But I think if it stays within that range, which I think it might be saying au revoir to right now, that could be a promising look. Hopefully that helps. And now I want pancakes. What are you looking at?
I have a sick recipe for really healthy pancakes. Better than my protein snacks.
Really?
They're banana-based. Yeah. We'll get to that. I don't want to make anybody more hungry. We got to concentrate on trading, baby. So I set up my my short here on Meta at 432. I just put a smidge below 432, 431.80s or thereabouts. Let's see. And number one, if I get triggered. Not triggered as in upset, obviously. Triggered as in my order gets filled, number one. Number two, whether I have this right trade. Am I seeing this the right way? I'm short now. Let's see if we get a big move down on the Meta. Let's see here. We're short 84s. Let's go hang out. Oh, wow. Nice big move up there on Meta. So I have to send it to you just to put in my stops, Adara.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I'm trying to get short NVDL, so I'll be joining you in the mega cap short land. But I like that we have these lower highs. For scalping purposes, I think it's probably okay, but I'm just kind of trying to reevaluate this quickly because we did have a little bit of a base here, not perfect base, mind you, but sort of a base around 33s, 32, 33s, right? So if you go to NVDA, actually, Nvidia, to me, this looks more clear like a downside move. So when I look at Big Sister, I'm getting some confidence we're staying in Nvidia. And the reason, I want to clarify too, the reason I call like Tesla and Nvidia the big sisters of Nvidia, NVDA and NVDL, Tesla. The reason I do that is because it's kind of like they look up to these stocks, right? It's the smaller version, it's a little bit cheaper to trade. And also, these stocks will kind of follow what their big sister stocks are. So that's why I call them big and little sisters, because they do kind of act in tandem sometimes. Did I get how many? Oh, I have less shares than I thought I did. That's cool. Okay. We're going to try to get out here at 35s. I don't know if we will. But that is all, it's all good, baby. Also, System Pro FX, thank you so much for that. Is that pound or euro? I think that's pound. Super chat. Here's your coffee emoji, folks. Thank you very much, System Pro FX. Hopefully you were drinking some coffee, some cup of joe, or a cup of tea if that is a pound, which I'm pretty sure it is. I saw some aggressive fist pumping.
We just took $1, Adara, just like that on Meta off that 432 rejection. Look, man, I mean, it's the way it is, right? So we're not taking big size though. Let's call a spade. This is small size here, but it is about getting the right reps and seeing the right things. So I'm happy about this. We looked at that higher low, said, there's a trend line that can be had here. That's what prompted me to get short on that bad boy. And Meta being the beast that it is, you didn't have to wait all that long to get a dollar banger on it. So Meta, taking the profits there and then running for cover because, whatever, who cares? So I'm happy with that trade. Keep your eye out on that 428, 429 area. That is where the volume weighted average price is hanging out, and you could definitely see some more downside there. And as I talk, Meta continues to go down. So the trade was right, I guess, and I just didn't have enough shareage, or I should have just held my position longer. So that's on me. And hopefully we'll continue to try and improve at that level. Someone was asking me earlier if I would short the soft one at 393 again. And I said, look, third time may not be a charm. And maybe I was wrong because for whatever reason, again, I don't know why, but the 20 period is absolutely ensconcing Microsoft to the high side there on the 5-minute, and it's kind of like flowing with the waves. I feel like this is almost like a sell program that's waiting to either short or wet the beak on some profits for whatever reason at that 20 period. Look at how well it is hugging that yellow line. That is the 20 period exponential moving average, and it is definitely, you know, what's the word I'm looking for here, Adara? It's definitely shadowing the price action on Microsoft on the day. Wow, Meta all the way down right back into that volume weighted average price. So that 429, 428 and change area came in super quick, and you did get that wick down to it. So if you were waiting there with a resting order, I hope you got filled. Meta down again. Keep your eye on the volume weighted average price. It did break below VWAP on this little retracement here, but that doesn't mean it has to do it again. So I'm looking at the higher lows and the lower highs, compression pattern on Meta, down 13% on the day. The market did not like what the Zucksters had to say yesterday about spending.
Yeah, I mean, the market played Zuck Zuck Goose with those earnings in that they ran away, ran around a circle. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of had to.
I love it. Neil liked it.
Thank you. I mean, there's going to be more Zuck puns where that came from.
Yep.
It is me.
Yeah, he's eating.
I didn't know he was
trying to
eating. I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm not that sorry. But yeah, congrats to you, though.
Thank
I'm
you.
certainly not playing Zuck Zuck Goose with profits on that. You had that $1 trade, and I saw how excited you were for that. So shout out to you. I also put shout out to Sharif in the chat.
Thank you.
Also, I really have to address this comment because I love this comment here from Tqqq Shez. Sometimes I'm not sure if Adara is AI or real. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, she real.
Yeah, I just really appreciated that. So, and I like the little happy emoji. So I put in the chat, I promise I'm a person. And yeah, I just thought that was kind of funny, so I wanted to shout that out. I got my 10 pennies on NVDL, and I ended up getting, instead of a part fill, the whole fill there, so please, his dang punch. We could be reversing here. I'm not really sure. We're going to wait and see. I said earlier, as long as we stay below the 90 EMA, this could be shortish to me. But so we are for now. We're going to keep that going. Also,
wow.
NK 279 super chat.
We're going to have to spend the money for all that money that he just donated right there.
Oh my gosh, I didn't. Richardson, 23.99 euro super chat. I'll do this one first, and then we'll get back to NK super chat. What's up, Sharif, Adara, and the whole lovely community? Hope so far our day is running well. All the best and big love to everyone that's a part of this. Stay how you are and keep grinding for the future you are chasing. Yeah, thank you so much. That is so kind of you.
That is very kind.
Very kind. And same to you. I hope you keep killing it.
Absolutely.
And we love the support there. Yeah. Also, NK, thank you so much for the 279 Canadian. Oh, Canada. Super chat there. Oh, Canada. Core PCE tomorrow, good or bad? Remember oil hot last month.
Good
I don't know.
question.
This is we're gonna have to wait and see because that PCE has been a spicy one as of late. But I think the CPI has usually been a bit more of a problem child for the inflation numbers as of late. I mean, what are do you have any thoughts on this PCE?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, like, what are we gonna do here, Adair? We got a higher print in January. We blamed it on seasonality. We got another higher print in February, and we said, okay, maybe a little bit of seasonality leaked into February. What are you going to say about the March number? There's no seasonality in that March number. We know that for a fact. So if this one comes in hot, I think that is a real problem here. But I did like the fact that we cooled down a little bit on GDP. Now, obviously, the fact that, we cooled down on GDP is not something we typically celebrate. But when we are in basically a high rate environment and the rates are causing issues for certain sectors of the economy, I know some people are looking for that reduction in the GDP and for the economy to slow down a little bit. I know that that's not what everybody wants to hear, but that's kind of how I see things. We'll see what we get tomorrow. But I got to tell you, the market's reacted a lot more aggressively on higher or lower CPI prints than it has on PCE prints, despite the fact that the Fed says that they are more dependent on the PCE print. It doesn't really matter what the Fed says. The market does what it wants to do.
That's a good point.
Yeah, Adara, I have to mention this because we haven't talked about too many small cap gappers, and this one is absolutely pumping to the high side. YYGH, it's called a company called YY Group Holdings. I don't have any details on this company. Let's check trade ideas, see if they know what's going on. YYGH, shout out to the NOS boss and his crew over there, YYGH. Okay, 7.12 million share float. I don't have the short float on it. The market cap on this monster is what? How come there's no market cap? Where's the market cap?
Is it an IPO? No, because it has a pass.
Market cap, there it is, 133 million Adara. So small float, not minuscule. about 7 million share float, and then this one is doing things. Look, I don't have an entry for this one today, but this is an IPO, as Adair said. YY Group announces closing of initial public offering. So let's see what the hell this one was doing. Was this a SPAC? What is this? No, okay, so this one did just IPO. Okay, on the 22nd, my bad. So that was Monday? Yeah, that was Monday. This one IPO'd Monday, and it's back at that level again, dealing with 4. This is where we opened up. That's where the opening price of the IPO was, $3.88, I believe, right? Obviously, we pimped into the high there at 470, but into 470. But now we're knocking the door of $4 again. Keep your eye on this one. This looks awfully good. You know, I would say wait for a retracement. It's really been respecting VWAP and the 10-period moving average. The 10-period is the green line. The volume-weighted average price is the white line. Whatever, either way, this one has been bouncing off retracements into those levels. That's how I had played until it shows me different. YYGH up 75% nicely off that IPO on Monday there.
Yeah, the YYGH, now we know why YGH, that one's moving. Also, we have another IPO, Rubric. I'm going to check. I can't. Is this one open right now? This is backed by Microsoft, so this could be an interesting one. And yeah, it's not open yet. I do have. Oh, it's because I spelled it wrong. That's why RBRK. Adara, English. So we're still not open. I do have the book open here. I Sharif noticed this as well. I've been way more organized in my little space since going live, so I have everything ready to go. Yeah, I mean, like before it was a mess on those side screens. We don't even want to talk about the side charts, but everything is organized now. So I have my little book ready for Rubric, ready to see what kind of a rubric this will give us for how this one will continue to trade. Oh, we just got another super chat. Thank you so much, Ahmed Amwala. AED, 10 Durham. Market looks shabby. I'll play it safe. Long Microsoft. Now, I know you've been talking a lot about Microsoft. So,
yes.
Yeah, you've had some nice trades there. Yes. This one I haven't looked at as much today, but thank you very much, Ahmed Amwala.
Yeah, look, man, let's talk about the fact that, you know, the technicals right now don't have a lot to do with the earnings that we're going to get after the bell today. But the little news that we did get ahead of, okay, I think YYGH might halt here at the $0.25. Keep your eye on that, guys. It just flew through 433 high of day on YYGH. This one is going, okay? That's the small capper I just talked about, IPO on Monday. With respect to Sofi, we got a little bit of information today that Satya Nadella will make his way out to Asia next week. I think Tuesday he's looking to meet with Malaysian leaders, Indonesia, as well as, I believe, Singapore, or it could be somebody else. I'm not 100% sure. Somewhere in Southeast Asia there. And we've seen that a lot from a lot of these other CEOs. We saw Tim Cook head over there. We know our friend Elon wants to build in India as well. So this is not something really new for these CEOs. What I want to hear is what exactly they plan on doing out there. Are they just looking to expand their services for artificial intelligence to the companies there, or are they looking to build out some infrastructure there? So that I'll be listening to on the call. The other thing I want to hear is anything with respect to ChatGPT. What is he going to say about Sam Altman? Is he going to talk about Sam Altman? Is he going to talk about the monetization of possibly OpenAI at some point? So that I want to hear a lot about. We know that the $10 billion investment is probably worth 10 times that already in OpenAI. Last time we heard about OpenAI talking about valuation, we heard something about 90 billion. So that is very interesting to me. So what I'll be listening for, the major things are the news on AI, Asian expansion into Asia, especially data centers and stuff like that. That I want to see. We know that they're huge with the cloud. I don't necessarily care all that much about the PC segment. I know a lot of that stuff will be, you know, more nuanced for the analysts who cover this stock specifically. But for me, I'm looking for the AI news story. Now, with respect to the technicals, Adara, on Sofi Ram, this one is breaking, finally, here, the 20-period moving average. So these higher lows are coming into play, but I don't want you to forget these lower highs as well. We have a perfunctory break right now of the 20-period, and it's not on a closing basis, but it looks to be deeper of a breach of the 20-period than we've had all day, okay? And that includes the opening range high there of the IB high. Shout out to Dan the Man Emmons. So keep your eye right now. The winds of change could be coming here for the soft one as it breaks through that area. But I would say definitely have your eyes plastered at 394.5, 394 area. I like as well the fact that there is a 50-period moving average at this previous area of resistance. It's nice when those two conflate.
Yeah, killing.
I got signed out of the chat, so I have to sign back in.
I
don't know what it is.
It does not. I've never done that with me. It's weird.
I don't know what it is.
But I log it in and out every day, which is like annoying in other ways, so maybe that's
probably
why.
yeah.
But yeah, I think certainly Microsoft is killing me softy with its chart. If anyone knows that song.
Of course.
Shout out to the Fusion with this chart. Yeah, I'm telling the whole line. With
Yes,
trend
Adara,
lines
kill it.
killing me softy. Yeah,
Wow.
we're gonna stop that now because that was killing me. But
good.
yeah. So let's see what we do here. I like this Tesla. Support could flip to resistance. I really want to wait and see what happens on this one. I am interested. What else? Oh, yes, we took a bit of an L there on TQs. I want to talk about it because I'm still proud of what I did with this trade and that I got out exactly where I needed to. I got involved in this short. I watched a couple times that we got into 30s and rejected. I said, we're going to try to take minimum 19s, maximum 10s. That didn't happen. We broke up a little bit. That's okay. Still got out exactly when we broke with that viciousness above 40s. And please just punch there. So, couple comments here. I want to talk about people here. Nick W saying, can you look at TTD and Moderna? Yeah, I can take a look at them quickly. TTD here, nice look, move up on the day. Is Trade Desk, from one trade desk to another. We'll take a look at Trade Desk. Let's look at, so this one was trading lower yesterday apparently on Meta earnings. Wow, this is a range. Wow, this is a range. Look at this on the daily. We had that resistance coming back to December 2023, December 76 area. We bounced off 76 support once, March 15th, 2024. Again, April 19th, 2024. This is a massive support area here. Honestly, speaking of bull flags, this looks a little bit bull flagish, not perfect, mind you, but we had the flagpole in the daily starting February 2nd, heading up here into 90s on February 15th, so nice aggression there. Then we kind of come into this little bit of a range, a little bit of a parallelogram, as we will say with these bull flags, and we bounce off 76 twice. So to me, this is a bit of an interesting area. TTD on this daily chart, I want to see if we continue to make these lower highs because we have had lower highs of late, but I think that 76 area is gorgeous support, especially with it flipping from resistance. Let's look at mRNA. Oh, I just wrote MMRNA, which is not what I want. mRNA, which I always forget on the NQ, but is on the NQ. So on the daily here, why do I only see 3 candles? That's weird. We're gonna switch. Yeah, I'm gonna see my daily chart for Moderna is being weird for some reason. But we are today on the intraday. We have kind of an interesting pattern here. We have that double bounce on the 5-minute at 104, trying to curl back up here, higher highs, bit of a flat top. Could we have a version of a flat top break below VWAP? And I say version because we're down in the day. So usually a flat top is after this upward movement. So we're gonna have to wait and see what if Moderna gets a shot in the arm that it needs to continue to the upside. Also, my chart just fell off a little bit there,
Yeah,
so I'm going to get that
over.
together.
No worries,
but
no
you have
worries.
your chat now, so good time.
Yes, I do. And who was it that wanted to know about? Nick Dub. Nick Dub. Big Nick Dub. Kyle gets upset when I call other people big, but we're going to call Big Nick Dub because we've been calling him for that for a while. Nice look on Lemonade on the day. It is negative. It's coming back, though, Nick, into that break-even point, which is at 1740 technically, HOD right now, 1736. I don't have anything specifically on Lemonade. Do they report soon or something? Let's have a look at the calendar. Oh, yes, they do report April 30th, so in 5 days, and it's an aftermarket. It is a 4 p.m. report. Lemonade, this one just screams, what's it called? Pandemic at me, right? Because this was a pandemic play. It was a pandemic darling. Anybody who's wondering, it offers renters, homeowners, car, pet, and life insurance. So that's essentially what it is there. That's what I remember it as. Let's look at the daily on Lemonade. So kind of like what we talked about with Roku when we looked at it earlier, it has been awfully consolidative the last little bit, and I mean really consolidative. Look at this. We're talking super tight ranges here. Essentially, since the last earnings, no, the previous, or not the previous, the one before that, the November earnings report where it really rocketed up off that $10.5 hold. It got all the way up to 18 bucks. Since that time, 20's been the top and 16 or 15.5 has been the bottom. So a bit of a tighter range. Even when we got earnings last time in Feb, we popped up, then we came back down. We sold the whole thing. So this could have been an earnings call meltdown where the initial pop-up on the release of earnings was received well by the algos, and then they get on the call, they spit some stuff that investors don't like, and huadunk goes the dynamite. In any event, it has been awfully consolidative, Nick, and with these type of stocks, needless to say, it's obviously hard to decipher what the intention is. As you can see, this is the longer term time frame. This is the pandemic. This is why I said it was a pandemic darling, because it got up to $190 or thereabouts. Now it's trading in the $16 range. Obviously, I hope you are not bag holding that. I don't think you are. But in any event, Nick, it's just really hard to tell how something's going to end up going based on its recent price action here, and I don't know too much about the company. All right, the other one, Trader Nick, another Nick. Okay, so there's Nick W, and then Trader Nick wants me to have a look at NEM, and I told him I would. So let's have a look at NEM. I don't even know this company. Watch it, Darren.
Oh, Newmon.
Of course, I knew it.
They had earnings.
Yeah, Newmon. This, I should know this because Alfred doesn't shut up about this company, right?
He likes the most random.
Yes, he does.
And they're
it's
always
so
like
annoying.
bellwethers. They're always bellwethers.
It's so annoying. He's like, I'm buying this and that. I'm like, I haven't even heard of this company, bro. Like, why do you always come at me with these companies, make me feel like I don't follow the market? You know what I mean? It's so annoying.
Alfred is a gem.
Yeah,
Alfred is a gem.
He's undefeated. Anyway, great move up today for Newmon. This is an earnings winner, right? Yeah, here it is. Okay, it's a big boy move. Newmont says Q2 production and costs expected to remain consistent. Anyway, so it looks like it's an earnings winner. It's up 11%. Let's have a look at the weekly so we can get a better sense of the levels before we dive in a little bit. Okay, so there was a lot of price action between this and the 50, and the 50 was definitely acting as a resistance level, and that takes us all the way back into the beginning of last year. January 2023 was the beginning of this trend where we kept rejecting off the 50, okay? Now we've broken through the 50 here if this candle closes the way it does. That'll be the first time we close above the 50 in quite some time. That'll take us all the way back into April of last year. It has been a year since we closed above the 50 on Newmont. So that's a good look. Now, when we did break above the 50 last time, look where we found a rejection at the 200. So where's the 200 right now on Newmont? It's hanging out at 427.25. So if we really start pamping here, keep your eye out for that 200 rejection on Newmont. Now, on the day, let's get a better intraday look here. What's it respecting? Okay, so true to form, a lot of these earnings winners, when they're gapping up, they seem to have shallower retracements, into the 10 period, which is the green line. The deeper retracements, as you can see here, come into the 20. So I would say, you know, if you're looking to get something here, possibly that 42.50, because of this crest over here, could act as a level of support if you retest it. But it looks like we're becoming a little consolidative here, Nick. I got to tell you, ever since around 11:30 or so, we've been very sideways in the price movement. Not saying we're going to reject off this level, but I'm just saying this 493, for whatever reason, acting as a bit of a top at the moment. So maybe a dip trade here would be a little safer than punching it at highs. I would say pack your patience and maybe put an order at 42.5, but you really got to be careful with this one because we could mean revert, and you also have to see that the volume is dropping off a little bit here. Also, keep your eye on RSI price divergence. We've been talking a little bit about this lately. When you're consolidative, right, in price action, but you're making lower high on the RSI, it sometimes is a bit of a leading indicator that the price, the good times for the longs may be over. So keep your eye on RSI price divergence. If we're sideways on the price, but we're going lower on the RSI, just be aware that, you know, things could be shifting a little bit.
Yeah, but right now we're going to shift briefly over to Neil's lesson du jour.
Welcome to the lesson of the day. And we got a good one here for you because I'm pretty happy with it. But as always, hey, this one brought to you, and this segment in the show brought to you by Alfonso AI. Want to beat the market? Then you need Alfonso's AI-powered stock ratings. Their top picks have surged over 100% since October 2022. Scan the code and get 50% off. But what you don't want to have happen is get 50% off of your net when you take one hit, or take a monster loss just because you happen to be wrong on a trade. Now, you're going to be wrong all the time. And there's a phrase I say a lot, but I want to explain what it means today. Let your losers be boring. You want your losers to be very, very boring. They should be simple. They should require no explanation. It's like you can show it, but they should speak for themselves. And what I mean by that is a fewfold. There's a couple of things that go into a trade. Now, if you're like myself, I'm never in a trade without an out first. If I don't know where I'm wrong in a trade or what it means to be wrong in a trade, I don't want to be in it. And that's the first step. Now, it might be a key resistance level. It might be a technical indicator. It might be something fundamental. Who knows? But whatever it is, make sure that you have some kind of an out. And once you do, I prefer stop orders to let you stick to them. It's all well and good to say I'm getting out if it breaks X price. But if you use a stop order, it's forcing you to get out. Maybe you can move your stop a few pennies away or a little bit away so you don't get that wick run or your stop run, but still have some kind of a line in the sand that allows you to preserve your capital. It's so important. What I mean by this about let it be boring, when it gets to your level, don't adjust, don't compromise, get out. Now, you're going to see an upward trend in Meta. I was short Meta multiple times. This morning, plan of action on their miss, well, the guidance miss, and they beat top and bottom, was short 430, short 440, short 450. All three of those levels, I wanted to look for pullbacks and fades, anticipating you could get a bounce, and I think we'd have some sellers joining in after the way their last time earnings negativity went. It gets into the 430 level. This is what I mean by boring. You take the short. I'm going to reload it after it was a win. But look at that. We're right out. We're not letting it get past. And then the most important thing, it's really easy if you like the short here to see this and jump into the trade. Now, if I jump in here, I've already determined above 430, I'm not wrong on a short till 440. If I take this trade, suddenly I'm going to find myself in a position where I'm risking 2, 3, 4x what I want to then have the out here at 440. So what I mean by boring is there's a stop at the 440 level. And I'm going to take it one step further. The first time it pops up in here, okay, great. It got to your level. It's pulling back. That's just some open action. The second time it gets to this level and it presses at 435, you're pretty clearly in an upward trend. You could make the argument, okay, it's still early action, you're pre-market highs, you haven't really broken out yet. But once it makes that break, you're in an upward trend. And if your trading strategy involves going against a trend, then the best thing you can do, A, obviously have a hard stop, B, sometimes get away from it. But in reality, if you're going to take the trade, a strong market and an upward trend is probably going to get to your price. So you really just have to wait for it. If it's a really strong uptrend and you want 440, you don't necessarily need to be in early. It's one thing if you're trying to short on the way down as opposed to short on the way up. And it's the same thing with buying the dip. If a stock is dying and you're trying to catch a falling knife, well, don't compromise on your price because you're trying to go against the grain. Stock's falling. There's plenty of sellers. You should wait till the price you want to buy. And if it doesn't get there, then don't buy the stock. So that's one way that you can try to keep things simple. The other way, it's almost more obvious. Here, I want to show you kind of like an idea of a win and a loss so you get an idea of why this matters so much, would be AAL. I'm going to show you two very similar setups. AL, make some higher lows. I want to buy the dip into VWAP. I want to give it to a local bottom underneath VWAP. I had like a previous close level as a support on the way back through. I wait for it to bounce once, take it off of VWAP the second time when it shows buyers, and then there's the one in and the one out. This is a situation where, I could easily, when it bounces here and doesn't quite run my stop, I could have bought back again above VWAP, But then what would I be doing? I'd be averaging into a losing trade, right? It does hold my stop there and head back higher, and it gets to VWAP, and I liked VWAP there. But then you're adding risk into something which is not showing the pattern you want. It's putting in a short-term lower low. There's no need to do that. If the stock is going to trend, which this one does not, it might just resemble something like this, where you buy this off VWAP, similar setup, breaks the bottom, holds VWAP, basically the same thing, a little bit stronger than what AAL was, but it's the same pattern. But you hold this one for the previous day high, a break of the high. Janet Yellen trailed me out there when she was talking about China. But the good thing about this is I actually could have been adding here. Like in that AAL example, it breaks VWAP under and then adds back again. This one puts in a higher low. So if I wanted more shares, you'd actually be at least adding on the way up. And that's the difference. Like the AAL's boring because I got into it once, and when it didn't look any better, I didn't add to it, and then you just adhere to your stop. But if it's going to trend, there's going to be opportunities to get in on a trend. Everyone always wants to be aggressive when you're averaging and when it goes against you, but really ask yourself, like, why aren't you more aggressive averaging up when a stock is trending for you? Which one is going to be more profitable? Obviously, that's a rhetorical question. I think we all know adding and being more aggressive with the trend is going to be better than the opposite. So I say it time and time again, it's a very simple concept. Let your losers be boring. It's going to save you a bunch of money at the end of the day, and it's going to allow you to focus on leveraging up on the things that are working for you. So that's your simple lesson of the day. Let those losers be boring.
Thank you very much, Neil. I hope you're recovering okay from that loss yesterday by Liverpool 2-0 to Everton. Shout out to my favorite Liverpool fan after my old man, Neil Roberts. Just trolling Neil. Neil, yeah, come on. How's it going over there? Oh, by the way, I'm long YYGH on a VWAP dip here. We're going to try our hand here on a VWAP dip or a 4-hold or whatever you want to call it. We'll see. My out is going to be the break of that 380 level, so we're going to watch that. I'll send it to you, Adara, as I put my stop.
Yes. Also, I have to shout out Neil because I saw this comment earlier and I forgot to mention it when Neil was like, oh, because someone in the chat was like, I can't tell if Adara's an AI or not, and I was like, I promise I'm not. And then Neil was like, oh, maybe she could be an android because she didn't wear a coat today and it was freezing out, which that is true. But my excuse for that will always be I'm from Winnipeg. That being said, I will probably regret that non-coat decision later. I just thought that was pretty funny. So shout out to Neil there. Also, yeah, I had this Nvidia long earlier. I was pleased as punch with this. Took that VWAP balance area, and this is just like the type of trades I want to make. I liked this area as the out for my short earlier because it was a bit of support and resistance interplay. So if I can see that again, I'll take it to the long side. Took that there. I probably need to keep taking this NVDL dip opportunities. We kind of have these bounces off the 9 EMA. We had a lot of clear resistance and support areas. I was scalping left, right, and central earlier today. So I'm going to try to play these again on the way back to the upside. So yeah, that's the only trade I had. I was really proud of this, like 10, 15 penny scalp, I think, on NVDL. TQs. This was disappointing. I tried to get this here when I saw this very bullish wick here down into 5140s and we bounced. To me, this is an area that I really like because that was a huge resistance area earlier and a little bit of chop and churn there in the pre. So I thought that could have been a nice area. It was. I was a few pennies shy of getting filled, but that's okay. Where's the next trade, as our good pal Obi says. So shout out to Obi, shout out to Amazon as well. Like, what's Amazon doing? Some people were mentioning that earlier.
The Amazonian?
Yeah, the Amazonian and the Amazonian on the chart as well. Amazon, nice little steady stream, trying to get to the upside here. Bouncing off the 9 EMA, a little bit less, I think, volatile and lively, I should say, than some of these other Mag 7 names right now. Amazon's just swinging from vine to the upside. How's your trade going?
Good. I'm probably just going to have to get out because I have to do the lesson. So I'm just going to get out for a 2-penny winner. No, because I don't want to be managing a small cap gapper while I'm doing the lesson. Oh, trying to connect. I did get logged out of this, so I have to re-log in. Sorry, Adair, just give me another second here to re-log in. Oh, it seems as if everything has worked out.
That's bamboozling. Your thing is bamboozling.
Yes, it is, and it's taking a long time to load, so I'm sorry, guys. Give me a second here. Odyssey Fights. He says, Chelsea fan here. Yeah, it was 5-0 to Arsenal. Did you know that Arsenal beat Chelsea 5-0 a couple of days ago?
Really?
It was a spanking of an old-fashioned Beat up, yeah.
That's intense because it's hard to get points in football.
It is. Goals, yeah.
Goals.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
On the pitch, I know some.
Hey, I like that. I know everyone calls it field in North America,
it's the
but
pitch.
that's how you know you're dropping European slang because you're going to the pitch. All right, let's get to the lesson du jour, guys. Scalping bull flags. Rammer? Scalping the bull flag, capturing fleeting profits in the bull flag setup. Let's talk about this bad boy here. So the bull flag beckons with its promise of an uptrend, but who says you have to wait for the big move before you can get some profits? Scalping offers a way to capitalize on short-term price fluctuations within the bull flag pattern. That's what we're going to talk about today. But as we always do, we have to just explain what some of these concepts are for the newer traders. What is scalping? So imagine a butterfly flitting from flower to flower, gathering nectar. Scalping is essentially similar in essence. You aim to capture small, quick profits from tiny price movements within a trading range. And that's what we're going to talk about now. So the bull flag essentially is going to be your scalping playground, but it's not going to be the entire flag. It's going to be part of the flag. And the part of the flag we're talking about is this area right here. This is what we call the consolidation phase of the flag. This is the big boy move, right? This is the flag pull, so to speak, and this is the actual flag itself. And you're going to try to work within this area over here on how to scalp. And so without, kind of just giving away everything that I'm about to say, the idea is to try to take this area short, cover here, or take this area long and get out up here. And you're going to rinse and repeat on that strategy. That is until the breakout comes in. And then that's, if you're short, you're going to have to get out. If you're long, let it go, baby. So that's the idea there. So the bull flag with its defined range, think of it as a flower garden, provides the perfect environment for scalping. The consolidation phase that I just showed you offers numerous opportunities to exploit short-term price swings. Neil read the ad?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. And this is what we're talking about here. As I finished explaining, you're looking at getting long on the bottom and getting out on the top, or short on the top and covering on the bottom. So here are the strategies for scalping in a bull flag. There are various approaches to scalping. Let's talk about the first one, support and resistance. So identify the upper and the lower trend lines of the flag. Your idea here is you buy near support and sell near resistance, aiming to profit from the price bouncing back and forth between these levels. So one other thing I want to put. So you've identified your support and resistance levels by drawing out these horizontal or diagonal trend lines. That's fine. But it makes the trade stronger if that area that you've identified both as a support and resistance area has a previous area of importance on the chart. And the bigger the time frame, the higher the time frame, I should say, the more important. So if you're seeing a key area of support on the 4-hour, it means more than seeing it on the 5-minute. So what you're looking for here is to look at these areas of support and resistance, identify them on a smaller time frame, then go back on a wider time frame, like a 4-hour, 1 hour, whatever, and look to see, are these areas important on a bigger time frame or not? If they're not, fine, just move on with your analysis. If it is, it's something, another check mark you can add right there. So support and resistance, very important. Not the only one though. Moving averages we can use as well to help scalp within the flag. Use short-term moving averages like the 7, the 10, the 5, whatever you want to use, to identify potential entry and exit points. The key here is to buy when the price crosses above the moving average, indicating upward momentum, and to sell when the price crosses down below the moving average, indicating potential pullback. So that's the move there, using moving averages. And then there's also the old-fashioned way, baby, price action. Observe how the price reacts at the edges of the flag. What is it doing when it gets up to the top? What is it doing when it gets up to the bottom? Is it respecting those levels very strictly, or is it breaking through them and then closing below it? Because you need to take that into account, because you can't have your stop on the top end of the range, if it's not respecting that area, you got to put it a little bit above that, right? So if it's breaching those areas of support and resistance, only to close above and below them after you know that there's bamboozlement in play, or the range per candle is very wide, and you need to account for that. Okay, so look for quick reversals after touching the trend line, allowing you to enter and exit positions based on these short-term movements. Did you do a walk and talk? No? Aw. Okay, okay. The Katina man just came back from a walk. He's $10 in the money on Meta, baby. Big shout out to the Katina man on that 427 long. It is now 437. Shout out to Sean, absolutely killing it on the $10 winner on Meta, bro. Calm down over there. All right. So beyond the basic, let's talk about some actual issues that you may encounter if you're trying to scalp using the bull flag setup. First and foremost, it's very fast paced, especially intraday and especially on the lower time frames like the 1, the 3, and the 5, okay? Scalping requires constant monitoring and quick decision making. It is not for the faint of heart. And as I said, Scalpulation Nation over here to my left, she does it very well, but I gotta tell you guys that, you know, scalping is a tough business, and like, you know, she's constantly looking at the chart, right? You're constantly monitoring.
I can't look away from it. I don't.
So, yeah, shout out to whatever works for you there.
Thank you.
What's going on, Katina man? Okay, the Katina man is going to show us something about scalping. Yeah, yeah. How many trades do you think I had on Meta? He's asked me how many trades I think he's had on Meta so far. I don't want to exaggerate it because I know that you have a lot, so I know that that is already in there. I'm going to say 96. 60. Oh, I pumped it. I had a 6 in there.
But my best one is this one.
The best one that he's got so far is the one that he's holding, quite frankly. And it's $10 in the money. All right, so that is what I wanted to mention. There's scalping, very fast-paced, not for the faint of heart. Make sure you know what you're doing. Try it in the sim first before doing it in real life, because it is a bit of a tougher ask here.
Yeah,
and,
I echo that.
Yeah.
The sim, yeah.
Fair. And also, scalping results typically in smaller profits. Scalping deals with tiny price movements, so profits are generally small. Consistent execution is the key to building gains. But as I said, small profits should mean small losses. You cannot eat like a bird and defecate like an elephant, okay? Because you're just going to give back everything you've made. So keep that idea. If it's going to be small profits, they have to be small losses as well. Trading fees, another issue that you have to deal with here if you're scalping. Scalping involves frequent trades, and trading fees can eat into your profits. Choose a platform with lower fees or choose a brokerage with lower fees. I mentioned first time around, we do not have this issue on the floor here because our entries and exits are, we're very wholesale, okay? And sometimes we get paid, as I mentioned, to actually add liquidity into the market. So by trading on certain gateways, especially the inverse gateways, we can actually get money for fees. We get money for adding liquidity, excuse me, instead of paying fees. But also beware of the breakouts. We're talking about a pattern here that is breakout centric. The whole idea of the bull flag is you have a big move up and then sideways consolidation. It is a continuation pattern by definition. What does that mean? That means it typically will continue going north. So by virtue of that fact alone, you have to be on the lookout for the break of the resistance line to the north side. So if you're going short at the resistance, you need to be always on the lookout that the price will continue or may continue to the north side. So you have to be aware of that. And a bonus tip here, I just want to mention, combining scalp strategies with other technical indicators like order flow analysis on the book and the tape to gauge buying and selling pressure, potentially enhancing your entry and exit points. You always want to know where the size is hanging out. If I can show my screen here, Ram, this over here is the book. This shows you all the, or not all, there's some hidden orders, but the orders that are known by the market. It will show you them here beside the price, so you know at $3.45 on YYGH, there is this many shares waiting to buy. On 360 on YYGH, there's this many shares willing to sell. So when you see big size at a certain level, you need to be weary of that if you're long, because that may prevent you from going north. So you have to have an eye on the book and the tape as well. Adara.
Yeah, thank you for going over that. And yeah, I mean, this was a really fun lesson for me. I literally was saying this earlier. It reinvigorated my scalping nature. Going through this lesson of the day, I was like, ready to go.
Hey.
So, and I mean, I think it's fun. We did have some nice scalps today. Snapchat I want to talk about, because this was, talk about a pump and dump or a rip and dip. I don't know what you want to call it. But look, and I'm really happy I canceled my order because I wanted to go long here around that 11.07s. That would have been fine for a scalp. But then we had that nice move up here into high of day, 11.20. Then we dip immediately below. I'm not seeing anything on this. This could be pre-earnings related frizziness. But also, this is from that news from earlier.
Did they say they were going to shut it down?
Oh, they weren't saying they were shutting it down. Oh
Look
my
at
gosh, they
this.
just said they were going to
Rembrandt.
sell it.
Look at this. TikTok owner ByteDance to prefer shutting down. That's old? That's what they prefer to do. Yeah, they don't want to sell it, the Katina man. Of loss-making app rather than a sale if exhausts all legal options. Algorithms TikTok's relies on, deemed core to ByteDance overall operations, making sale of app unlikely, sources say. I know you've been doing a lot of research about this. Are you seeing that they're saying they're going to sell it without the algorithm?
Well, so what I was seeing is they were only going to sell it. Yeah, they're not selling the algorithm. They said that they want to keep the algorithm, which has a lot of people being like, well, the whole reason they want it sold is because they're worried about the algorithm, right? So that's going to be kind of fruitless. ByteDance posted on a Chinese news site that they also own, saying that whoever said they're selling TikTok, that's not real.
Really?
So that came out. I think I brought that at the big desk around 10:50 right before we came on here, but it didn't really impact the market that much. This though, that's very different. This story is very different. What you just said.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a lot of like tweens telling their parents in the Senate, like, Dad, why did you vote for this? Like, who's going to watch Kylie Jenner's rumored pregnancy unfold over TikTok now? So, well, that's what I was. But yeah, I mean, you could. I guess we still could, but Ramin's saying me. But I'm saying, yeah, like that's what I mean. I think there could be some upset there from some young people and some influencers, maybe understandably so, but I think it's going to be interesting to see what the people who voted for this have to say now that it's gone against them. Did you hear too, apparently, I forget exactly who it was, I don't want to say it was someone who was a proponent of this bill. They short sold, or no, they went long Meta.
They were long Meta.
$700,000 worth of shares, and they got ransed for that.
Yeah, look, I think that's going to have to actually be amendment. The Congress people or Congress, whatever members, there's got to be some restrictions on trading there.
Yeah, that was wild.
I mean, come on. All right, guys, Meta is, sorry, not Meta. Apple is rejecting the volume-weighted average price. Apple did curl back into the VWAP over here, 169.25 and down. 22, and down we go back into 169. The closing print yesterday, 169.02. So now we're kind of caught in the middle. We've got VWAP as a resistance level to the north side. We have yesterday's closing print as a support level to the south side. How does this resolve? We are absolutely flat on the day right now on Apple, up 0.01%. I was inclined to take this short until I saw that the support level was at 169.02. I'm like, okay, well, then we may bounce off this area. So I want to see exactly how this resolves, whether we give up the ghost at 169 or whether we pop right back up above 169.20. That is the look there on AAPL. A bit of a topping tail candle came in here on Meta. The Katina man is covered on Meta now, so he's all done with that trade. Look at this candle over here. This, to me, usually says there's going to be a little bit of selling. It doesn't mean that the entire trend is gone. We're going to sell off the entire day, but at least locally here, this topping tail candle into 438 and 2/3 did precipitate a big sale. $4 plus now off the top there on META. Comes down now 12% Adara. And then Softy. I want to mention this on Softy. So Softy was really, and we mentioned this a bunch of times, really respecting the 20 period as a level of resistance on the day, and we didn't really know why, nor did we care. Now, it is well above the 20 period, and it is now dancing with the 50, okay? So the 50 is the red solid line, not the dotted line, the solid line on my chart. I want to see if Softy rejects off the 50 here. I'll be looking to take this bad boy short again. And just so you guys know, the soft one yesterday closed at 409 1/3. The low on the day of Softy was 388. That's like a lot of money. Adair.
Oh, sorry, I didn't
Yeah,
realize
it's
that was
all
a...
good, yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. I was looking at Wingstop. I was distracted by this Wingstop chart. This one reports next Wednesday, and a lot of people mentioning this one. I saw this earlier as well mentioned, and then someone just mentioned it right now in the chat as well, which I saw. I can't see who this was, but yeah, Wingstop, nice look. Really weak volume, though. 209,000 shares. What?
This girl's losing it.
She's down for Wingstop?
She's all about her Wingstop there.
Yeah, she's not going to stop hitting the bang button for Wingstop. But yeah, Boeing also, speaking of things that have been stopping for understandable reasons, Boeing production, I know, has had some issues, but this Boeing recovery, nice. Higher highs, higher lows. Once we got to that little bottom area at 160, I should note as well, the recovery in this chart's nice, but yesterday during its earnings call, Boeing said its own economic recovery could be a little bit slower than expected. So I said that recovery thing, and I was like, we should make that point as well. Also, we're kind of coming into an earlier resistance level, this 162.75. Could it be spicy? I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see. But we're getting near that area with a viciousness. Live trading by TraderTV Live, aka Ramin. No show. I gotta head out to grab Wingstop. Be right back. So shout out to Ramin, always killing it over there. Ramin and Fabian. Shout out to both of them. Also, I am in this Sofi long. I don't like that we broke below the 90 MA, but I like this area here earlier. This support and resistance level. If we break below 42s, I'm getting out. So we're risking about 2 pennies, trying to make about 2 to 3. So again, my risk reward ratios are something I want to work on, but I'm really trying to scalp this right now. So I'm happy for that right now. Can't stop, won't stop for Wingspot says, or Wingstop says, Honest Abe. So I love that. QQQ, let's look at QQQs. Because you'll see how this market's doing. Someone was saying earlier as well today, they were like, oh, why don't you guys trade as many indices? And I would say, you're actually in your TQQ short right now.
Yeah, I might get stopped out.
But yeah, no, I think it's because I mostly will trade things on ranges. So if I see an index with a range, I'll get involved. But if I don't, I don't. So that's why I don't really trade them. I hope that helps. But Sean will short the market, as he says, semi-frequently as well. So we do have some index trading. I think for me, at least, it's just really going to depend on if I have a setup I like, if that makes sense. So there we go. Is anyone else looking at things? I'm short Google 156.25 says Joanna Brewster. So let's see how this is going. Okay, where's this 156.75? Oh, this is a nice look. Okay, yeah, this is really nice. We kind of get to the bottom, we get to the top of this area, have a nice rejection here, 156.40s, continuing to kind of go to the downside. I would like to see us give that 90 MA, but right now it looks like you're already 30 pennies in the money, so shout out to you. Spend that money, money, money. It's a nice look. Also, I'll be really curious to see what we do here at 155.75. Why? Because that was a massive support area earlier. Then we had that nice green candle up from it. This could be a spicy area. I don't think you have to search for a level here on Google. How are you doing?
We're 10 pennies out of the money, but I want to explain why I got into this trade. Because we did reject off the 200 period on the 5 earlier on the future. So we did make it into the 200 period again, and it looks like we stalled out a little bit, but looks like I will get stopped out here, and I do. It did pop up. So look, I mean, I could have gotten shaken out of this trade. I still like this level. I just don't want it to go against me too much. So if it does start curling down, I will look to get back into this, but this was a bit of an ARB kind of try here at the 200 period, excuse me. Let's see what we have at the 15. Okay, so the 200 period at the 15 is well above 17.5, so that's not a level. Well, we'll keep an eye on that, because if we do get back into 17.5, and we absolutely could, that could be an interesting area for another short. 17.525 technically is the HOD on the day on the future. It is a level that we printed at 5:45 a.m. this morning. We always take these levels with a little bit less importance, but I don't want to say that they're less important, just to say, that they're done on less volume. So it looks like I did get bamboozled out of that trade, sadly. So my stop was a little too tight, and we're still rejecting off the 200 period on the 5-minute on the NQ June contract. So if this ends up resolving downward, I'll just jump in again. I don't mind. But it does look like it is rejecting right now. Maybe I should have put a dip trade to the top side to get a better cost basis, and then I would have avoided that whole thing. I'm also watching Tesla, guys. I see you guys talking about Tesla. It is on the way down. It broke the volume-weighted average price quite aggressively. The Katina man is now short AMD. Keep your eye on that as well. AMD coming down. Eh? AMD. I'm sorry. How dare I?
Yeah, I feel like too. Sean was like waiting. He was like, you need to call it by its proper name.
Yeah, I know, I do. Oh, wow. Come on, Fuge. Come on. Fuge is on the way down again here. Well, we'll see. I'm keeping my eye on the Fuge. I'm keeping my eye on Tesla. Keep your eye on 162 on TSLA, guys, because that is where the support level is. That is yesterday's closing price. It's also like 10 pennies, I think, above pivots and the 200 period. So there's a lot that's pointing at that specific level. It did reject off, for whatever reason, resistance level 1 on pivots. Sometimes it respects them, sometimes it doesn't. Tesla breaking down below 163. It does look like it may come in to yesterday's closing print. If it does, I think that is an interesting trade to take. Seeing as Tesla, you know, it's got its feet under it a little bit anyway for the past couple of days since earnings. What else are we looking at here? Well, we're still ranging between VWAP and Apple's closing print yesterday at 169, so that hasn't changed. The soft one now is above the 50-period moving average, so this one looks like it is recovering. I was looking for a possible rejection off the 50-period in the way that we were getting off the 20. Doesn't look like it's happening quite yet, but it still may. That topping tail candle on Meta is still printing to the downside, so whoever was wise enough to take that, you've been printing $4, some off the top. Yeah, that's really all I'm looking at the moment, Adara. I didn't really look at this small cap gap or YYGH has given up the ghost. Broke down below VWAP, so kind of looking at all large caps at the moment.
Yeah, more like bye-bye GH.
Bye-bye GH.
I just noticed you kicked it off of your side chart as well. So
it's here, it's here.
Oh, never mind.
There's a small cap tab and a big cap tab, Adara.
I love Sharif's side charts are noted, they are storied, they are legendary, and I appreciate them. Did you cover SMCI, says Zach Frack? I think I covered it for you a little bit earlier, but let's look at it again because I haven't looked at it in quite some time. Continuing to the upside, wow, thank you, Zach Frack, for bringing this to our attention. We had a little bit of consolidation. I said that 774 could get a little bit spicy, and it did get spicy and dicey. We chopped and churned, and then we had this nice little breakout to the upside. I mentioned earlier this looked a skosh bull flaggish, and I think, honestly, maybe not necessarily bull flaggish, but there were some elements where we had that move up, the consolidation, the chop and churn, and the continued upwards movement. I think even if a pattern doesn't manifest perfectly, sometimes you can have elements of the pattern that are worth noting. So hopefully, I don't know if you're printed on this, but congrats to you either way. Congrats to anybody involved in this super move on Super Micro. Rye Guy wants to look at TQQs. This is interesting. I should have taken this TQQ short at 51.83 because of this doji. And you know what? I mean, I still like this level, so we're going to take it. We're going to scalp it. But yeah, I think we're going to miss it, but I'm still going to have this order ready. Why I like this is because we had that area. We got up to 51.90s, which for context on the Qs, its big sister, is going to be about 421.80, right? So we get to that area, and then we kind of see a bit of consolidation, a bit of a pause, a breath. Now we're heading to the downside. I think I missed my entry on this, but you know what? We're going to... You can't be too stubborn about entries. I know that's something that Neil has spoken of as of late, so I want to be true to that. I want to adhere to these lessons. We got involved at 80s. Initially, I wanted 83s. I'm comfortable with 80s. If we break above this, we're going to give this to about 90s. We're going to give this about 10 pennies. Then I'm getting out. I do want to see here what we do at 75s because that was that top earlier, but I want to give myself a bit more room than that as well. I'm also cognizant of these wicks to the downside because to me, that could be a little bit bearish. It could be these sellers taking a breath for now. Buyers overwhelming. Buyers taking, their time in the sun. But yeah, in general, the main area I like on this TQs that I was taking advantage of earlier was that 51.10 initial reversal here, or rejection here off the open. Then it holds the support on VWAP. So yeah, that 51.10 was a great look. I think if we do fall, I want to see what we do at this 51.70, that pop, then that other area, 51.40, and of course, 51.10. But we know I'm not going to be there that long if it goes down that far. I saw you
I hate you for having a better price than me. You always do that.
It's because I'm too aggressive.
I'm so petty right? No, I'm looking to defend the level as well. I've got a DCA, planned DCA at 51.90, and then I'm going to have to be really tight with this. We're doing the wick shimmy dance at the 200 period on the NQ, June contract at the 5. We're dipping into the 50-point level. And I don't usually look at the 50-point level in this way, but we're wicking down into the 50-point level and then bouncing back up. So I'm a little concerned with my short at the moment, I'm not gonna lie. But we're not really moving past the 200 period with any vigor. This is exactly what I'm talking about, guys. The blue line, that's the 200 period. We're wicking into it, but we're also wicking above that 450 level. And look what that 450 level is. That 450 level is a level of support from earlier. Why? Because it was a level of resistance. We crested out at 17,450. And now we're kind of doing that consolidation dance using it as support. So I'm a little concerned with this trade. I'm going to keep a tight stop on it. I do have a plan DCA to get a better price, but we'll see exactly how this manifests. Now, we can kind of have a look at what the Mag 7 are doing to kind of get maybe foreshadow what the look will be on the future. Let's look at what's moving up and what's moving down. Apple is, you could say it's moving up. It's definitely off the lows above 169 right now, ranging between 169 and the volume weighted average price. Amazon is on the way up as well. It's awfully close. Too high a day. Meta did curl off that top there at 439, but it's since found its footing and it looks like I will get stopped out. So I did get that DCA, but this one looks like it's going to go to the high side, breaks 52. I'm out here, Adair.
Yeah, I wasn't able to get out of this as quickly as I wanted to. It was a bit of a fat finger, so we still got out around 90s, which is what I wanted. I can live with that. I just wish I had a slightly better price. We are slightly down in the TQQs, but and also slightly down in Sofi, but up on Tesla and up on Nvidia. And you know what? Honestly, I'm trying to trade PNL a little bit less. I find the biggest thing since going live is that you do check your PLL a little. PLL, as those Pretty Little Liars, PNL a little bit more because you want to make sure you're doing well. It's real money, but I think that's one thing I do want to kind of slow down and trade more based on what I'm seeing.
Guys, my position didn't update correctly on the position board. I just want to mention my position now is 51.83 with that DCA at 90. So I just want to mention that the position board is not correct, but that may be moot, because we could absolutely be pushed out of this position very soon. It looks like the future will hold up at this level. You have the soft one on the way up. Meta's on the way up.
The soft one?
No, he liked moot point. He liked my moot point.
Oh, it's a nice one.
Yeah. Shout out to the Katina man there. Yeah, Softy is on the way up here, guys, and I don't know. I don't like this trade, but I've already put my, my stop, and I'm going to leave it. Let it be. What is everybody else looking at here in the chat? I haven't seen too many people mention anything of note. Let's see what people are looking at. Agba breaking out. Not Agba.
Abracadabra?
Abracadabra is back, apparently. Let's load up Agba. This was a small cap gapper, a GBA. This one showed up a couple of days ago. What's this one up to at the moment? Let's load that bad boy up. So it's down, guys. It's down 2.86%. So I guess it's bouncing up. Maybe into that closing print from yesterday. That's around 245. We're printing 238s at the moment. Yeah, Agba's not for me. I mean, the volume is just not there yet, nor is the momentum trade. So I'm going to leave that one be. What else are you guys looking at? My man there, Marcelo, shorting Tqqq at 423.15. Hey, man, we're there with you. So I hope it ends up going our way. Otherwise, we're both going to get stopped out at this level. What is my man Fat Figure says MNY Money Hero.
Oh, I remember that.
It's moving, baby. It's moving. Nice look here for the Money Hero. Let's look at the deets on this bad boy. Up 40%. This one, did it just start moving? No, it's been moving. What's the volume? 4.66 million shares. Okay. Huh. Why is this one moving? Do we have a headline on this?
It's a past runner. I'm going to see if we have any headlines, though. Also, I just remembered we do have an auction. I think it's the 7th year coming at 1.
Okay.
Money Hero, no, that's from April 3rd. I'm not seeing anything on this one.
Okay, yeah, neither am I. And it's moving nicely here. So shout out to Fat Figure. Let me know, man, if you have anything. Ram. If you have anything on this name. Ram, chart. Oh, all good. Let me know if you have anything on this name, Fat Figure, because I can't see anything on mine, but we have a good technical break. And look, it's not respecting VWAP. Let's be real about it. There's a bit of a dance here with VWAP, a little bit above, a little bit below. Is it respecting any moving averages? Not that I can discern, at least not on the 5. How about the 15? Let's flip to the 15. Do we have any respect here for anything? This thing, it's like a teenager. It respects nothing. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, we're doing a bit of a dance here, a little bit above VWAP, a little bit below. I don't have a good read on it, so I'm going to have to stay clear. But I am now officially out of the TQQs, baby. The market heading up, at least for the moment. Let's see what it does at 17.5.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot happening here in this market. I'm trying to long Snapchat, but I'm definitely going to miss that opportunity. We just keep bouncing off that 11.08 area, so I wanted to take that for a couple pennies as a pure scalp play. Alas, it did not happen, so we're going to let her be, keep it on the side chart, and wait for the next opportunity. This NVDL, though, spicy, spicy, spicy. I like that we're kind of resting on this. We had this move up, then we have this bearish, this kind of, to me, bullish move here, these candle wicks saying, oh, not right now. We have them move to the downside and then buyers eating it right back up, right? So I do like this look here. We're going to try to take this out at 33.10s. So I'm totally comfortable with that. I also like this area too because I took a short off of it earlier today because I did like it as a resistance level. So if I like it as resistance and it manifests as support, especially with confluence in the 90 MA, why the heck would I not take it, is what I say to myself. So that's what I'm going to do. We're going to try to get out here. We have it all planned out. And then if we break below this, if we break below 80s, we're going to give this, I don't want to give it all the 14 pennies. We're going to give this like 86s. That was an area earlier. We had that wick to the downside. We're going to risk about 8 pennies, trying to make about 13. That is a really highly specific risk to reward ratio, but I'm cool with it just based on these wicks and these chart patterns. Speaking of chart patterns, we have Surya here asking, thought for Thursday, was wondering if you guys have heard of this ICT trading style or perhaps know about it. So I just looked it up, and this is Inner Circle Trader. It's used in the strat community, and you don't actually use charts apparently. So that's interesting. No indicators being used, purely on price action. Yeah, that'd be interesting. I'll definitely something to look into. So thank you for bringing that to our attention there, Surya. But yeah, also Surya was mentioning IBIT, and that's one that I've been trading IBIT of since getting involved. So let's see how IBIT's doing. This is a nice range. I'm really sad I missed this 36.45 all the way up to this 36.55. This also all the way up. This also kind of a bull flag here too, right? We had that 36 area into 36.50 consolidation, now breaking up to the upside. Also that RBRK IPO has opened up here, so let's see how this one is IP going over here in this IPO. Rubric up 21%. Jay Lee saying I'm long 38.08. Get in my honest opinion. Nice. Yeah, well, congrats to you. You're good 50 to 70 pennies in the money. This one's running pretty quickly. So for me, this would be my first IPO since going live, and I think it's something I'd want to be a little bit more comfortable with my stops before entering something like this in live. I'm going to be really, really honest with you. And even I did trade the Reddit IPO in the sim, but that I waited for until we had a few more candles so I got a better sense of how it moved. I appreciate you pointing this one out, though I did have it on the book. I just noticed it's open, and right now you're about $1 in the money, so shout out to you, Jay Lee. I'm going to have to wait and see once we have a bit more action on that chart to see if it's something I'm comfortable with. But right now, I am super proud of this NVDL scalp, so I would like to talk about it if that is all right. So I got involved here at that 90 MA hold. I was going to give this into 86s. We didn't even get below 90s there. And then I just had my order ready for that 33.08. I turn around, we're at 32.95. So I was really happy I was able to scalp that how I did. And this is the type of trading I need to be doing more of. And this is just a reminder to myself. Do you know what I mean? When I try to do this buy and hold or the hodl, it just does not work. I feel coddled by hodl, and I want to take more of these type of rangy, scalpy plays because they do invigorate me a little bit more, and I think it's the type of trading that I'm more comfortable with and I do a little bit better with because I think I make more sound decisions for myself. So rant over, happy with that trade, and I think this 33 area in Nvidia or NVDL, which is going to correlate to a roughly 820, no. 818, 819 on NVDA is, I think, definitely been an area. We had that move down here, that resistance then formed to support, so I like that look. And in about 8 minutes, we're going to have the auction and the lesson of the day, so more scalps being discussed soon. How are you doing?
Long Apple, trying my hand here out of VWAP hold after it took the VWAP. But this is the one that I'm looking at right now. Keeping my eye on TSLA because it did break down below VWAP, held up at 162.75, and here we go. It's now knocking the door of 164, a little bit above VWAP here. Maybe that the winds of change are coming here on TSLA. It was a nice down move, essentially from 11 o'clock onwards. It topped out at about 11, and since that time, it has been selling off. So almost 2 hours of selling here on Tesla. I guess not a moment too soon to the high side. As it does break 164 now, we'll see if it stops anywhere in specific. I mean, I have this 164.75 area earmarked as an interesting area that owes to the trough that we put in here at around 1055, 1050. Held off that level, and then we made an attempt at the high of the day, which is 166.88. So we'll keep an eye on that. Tesla getting its second win, it looks like, on the day. So we'll keep eyes on that. Flat on my trade right now on AAPL. Keeping an eye on the market as well because 17.5 is inching a little bit closer here. Now the new high, not new high a day, that's incorrect. The local high right now on the Fuge NQ June contract, 17.842. Sorry, 482, excuse me. So that means we're 18 points away from that 100-point level. And funny enough, the support level 1 is right at 17.5 on pivots. So we'll see if that ends up playing or featuring whatsoever here. And there it goes now, new local high as it looks like the Fuge is pumping. So my assessment on the Fuge, rejecting off the 20-period moving average on the 5, was incorrect. And it looks like we will touch 17.5 here. And I put my beak wetter on AAPL for a 38 print. So we'll see if we get that. We're printing 35s at the moment. Looking for a dip and hold above the volume weighted average price for Apple. For the dead one on the day. And then Meta, wow, Meta continues to head north after that topping tail candle that bamboozled me, certainly. Look at that topping tail candle, and then it holds up beautifully at the 20-period moving average at 433 and a fifth. And that didn't look back since, man, because we're now knocking on the door of 438, and looks like we're going to break that top of that topping tail candle at 438 and 2/3. We're right there now. So let's see if we can break that level and then look possibly for maybe a 444. So $444. We'll see if we get that. All right, we did wet our beak on Apple, and we're nicely 50 pennies, 25 pennies in the money. Sorry, 50 pennies. I multiplied by 2 there.
I was so glad.
Yeah, I know.
That's still awesome.
Nice 25 penny banger, Adara, on AAPL. Let's see if this one can make it up a little bit higher. I know we're at 17.5 now, so there is going to be possible rejection at the Fuge. I love these 100-point levels as areas of both support and resistance, but it doesn't mean just because we got to 17.5 that we're going to turn back around. But it is something to look out for. You need to be aware of these levels on the futures contract if you want to trade these Mag 7 names. The tail, the dog, that whole thing. So you got to figure that whole thing out. And right now, it looks as if we're, holding up a little bit here at the 100-point level, Adara.
Yeah, I will say as well, I think my trades in the Mag 7 names. Oh, hi, Randy.
Oh,
Randy the Mandy.
What's going on, bro?
Oh.
Oh, hold on. What just happened?
Wait, can we see that again?
Whoa. He just, okay. It's the extended bear.
Extra bearish. It's the double levered log of short bear ETF. It's a double levered short ETF. It's just like when you're extra bearish, that's what that is. Because it's double bears, yeah. But also, what's not bearish at all is Roblox. So I see a lot of mention of Roblox in the chat. Wow, this double bottom is stunning. This is like so clean here. This 33.75 bounce area. Then we get up to that 34.35. Make a lower high, but certainly not a lower low. Breaking to the upside with a viciousness. So shout out to anybody in that Roblox long, because that's an excellent look. I was going to see if there are any news on Roblox. Not seeing anything right now, but it had an upgrade on Tuesday, so definitely some positive analyst sentiment on this name. I don't have any reads on it right now, unless it's just kind of getting in on a dip, but it's going on my side chart because I think that's a great look. What else are people looking at here? CGC, shout out to Pretty Panda, I believe, mentioning CGC or some of these weed-related stocks. So let's see how Canopy is doing. Canopy Growth Company. Oh, this is a range if I've ever seen one. You know what Roblox, now I'm gonna keep Roblox on the chart, but I'm gonna put CGC on my other side chart here as well, because I don't need NVDL on my side chart unless I'm actively trading it, because I have its big sister, NVDA. So this CGC, the one thing that concerns me for my own trading style about going long here is we do have that support at 884, building on that previous area of resistance. So if this breaks, I think it will break with a swiftness, and we have slightly lower highs. However, there's also potentially a range to play here, and I don't want to get short. So if we have that bounce around that 884, 883 area, I will get involved, which I'm interested in. We have Mikey DFS mentioning Chewy and Mara. Let's look at both of these quickly. Chewy is on the NY. Sorry about that. Let's see. Let's try to chew on this chart here, see what kind of come with here. This is a nice look here. Thank you for pointing this one out, Mike DFS. It's interesting. We kind of look like we're going to have a flat bottom break, lower highs and a flat bottom. Then we have a nice little reversal here, riding that 9 EMA to the high side. This is a fantastic look here on Chewy. 4.15 million shares in volume, so not at all negligent volume either. Is there any, no news on this, and we're still down on the day, but that's a nice little recovery. I'd like to see what we do at that 15 area earlier, because that was a nice green candle. Also, Mara. Let's look at Mara, see what kind of marathon this guy's doing. Thank you for people mentioning the auction here. I do have it up, waiting to see what happens there. I have financial juice up. We're 30 seconds away. Yeah, this Mara's nice. Bouncing here, higher highs, higher lows. And interesting, this looks like it could have rejected a little bit at 18.7, and it did, but then it decided it wanted to do a flat top break instead. So nice look there for M to the A to the R to the A. This is another one I might have to switch out my side chart. There's so many charts to look at here. Yeah, Joanna Brewster saying, watch the longs, we could tank. I am not getting involved in anything here because it's pre-auction and I just do not trust the auction. Although, as I was telling to Steph B in the chat, we haven't had much of a reaction to these auctions as of late. No. So wait and see will be the key thing here.
I agree. We're, especially since we're at 17.5. And really not breaking above or really breaking below. So I think the market is kind of taking the same approach you're taking, Adero, which is let me see what this auction has to offer. Yeah, so we'll see here. I'm going to pack my patience. We'll see how this market reacts, if it reacts at all, as Adero kind of alluded to. These auctions have been kind of hit and miss in their importance as of late. Right now, we're getting topping tail candles going through 17.5. So the wick shimmy dance is being done from the sell side at the moment. Doesn't mean that it stays that way, but it is something to make an observation about, especially if you are looking to take something long or short here. Dipping down now below 17.5 into the low 90s. You know, this could take 15, 20 minutes to resolve. It doesn't have to be a touch and dip, like touching 17.5 and then move all the way right back down. Sometimes you watch this, 20 minutes, you'll get 4 or 5 of these 5-minute candles doing the wick shimmy, either from the north or south side. Wow. All right, dip down now into the 80s, into the high 80s. So we do, for the moment, at least find some resistance right now on the future. And Apple kind of experienced that in spades. So I'm happy I got out the top here on AAPL because it came back down to third. I'll be looking to see if it comes back into VWAP and where the market is. If Apple makes its way down to the volume weighted average price at 169 1/5, right? And right now it put in ugly topping tail candle there as a result of the pop into 17.5 and reject. So it looks like Apple having issues breaking with that level as well. What else is going on? The soft one is just on the way up, man. It is unabated to the quarterback here, man. Wow, how many green candles in a row? 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to call this one a green candle. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. If you count this huge hammer candle as a green candle, it's 15 in a row. So something's afoot here with Softy, as it did dip aggressively into 388 after closing, guys, at 409 yesterday. So trying to recoup some of the move. Now, what we could do here is we could kind of, a nice way to use fibs, you could drag the fib from the closing print yesterday and drag it to the low on the day, and then see where we're retracing to. Well, we haven't really made it back into that 61% or that 1/3 or 2/3, 1/3, excuse me. retracement. So that is hanging out around 396, 397. It also happens to be that little bottom before the Huadun came in at the bell, or 5 minutes prior to the bell. So we'll see. We'll see where Softy ends up finding resistance. I feel like you have something to say.
We had the auction just come in
go
there,
ahead.
but the market
Interrupt me, woman.
Well, it didn't react too much. Sorry. I'm so bad at it. I'm like, I need to get better at just being like, hey.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it came in 7-year high yield, actual 4.716% compared to the previous 4.185%. Thank you very much, day trader cut. This is interesting though. The market kind of continued doing its thing 21. I had my finger at the ready to short NVDL at 33.20. And then I didn't because we had that move up. So I said, you know what? We're going to wait. We're going to stay there. Let's have to wait. Let's wait and see. So yeah, not doing too much here. Also, thank you, Darwin, for mentioning this FSRN news for Fisker. We didn't just have Randy over there, so it's like Randy manifested this news. No, I'm joking. Definitely did not. But we did have Fisker apparently telling employees that 4 automakers are in talks to buy the struggling startup, says Business Insider. Although, yeah, I did accidentally say startling instead of struggling. Although, also, Fisker is kind of startling in terms of how badly it's doing.
What is it doing today?
Well, right now, it had news, so it's up a little bit here.
18,
FSRN, yeah. Thank you, Darwin, for letting us know about that. What is happening?
There's a person in the chat by the name of Ram. So Ram is like, hi, twin.
Nvidia, yeah. That Ram wants to look at Nvidia. So let's look at Nvidia, not for Ram, but for Ram. That was confusing. So that, really bamboozling topping tail candle, getting into 824s, closing at 822s, then breaking above. Now we're at 825. So yeah, NVDA wants the dream, to quote Chef Joe. And yeah, certainly something nice cooking up there in NVDA. Not the way that Sharif was Tim cooking in that Apple long, because that was a great trade, but also cooking as well. Pop and short. 499 super chat, thank you so much. Up big, Akon, you're so beautiful. And PCSA, little winky tongue emoji. Do you have advice for ending the trading session early after a massive green morning?
Oh.
Also, shout out to the chat. Y'all rock. Yeah, the chat does rock, and so do you, Pop and Short. Thank you very much for that super chat. I have to say, I don't know if I'm the best person to give advice on this personally, just because, I mean, when you're on the show, you kind of trade throughout the show, right? But I think sometimes you might want to end a trade early if it's just, you know what you have to do, you have your levels, just get out. Also, the other thing too is ending your session early after a green morning. I mean, I think, if you see a setup you like, feel emboldened to take it, but also if you want to minimize, or if you want to maximize your wins as well, just maybe keep that in mind. It's hard because I try not to trade on P&L, so like I said, I'm not sure if I'm the best person to give advice on this, but if there's not any, I guess don't force yourself into setups. Just think, this is my money I've made. If there's a setup I like, I can use it, but if I don't, hands off. I don't know if that, I think you might have.
I agree with you. I was going to see what the big kahunas had to say as well. But yeah, that's actually really interesting. I mean, you could do a couple of things. You could have a daily goal. You always hear the Katina men say 2 times daily goal, 3 times daily goal. I don't know if Neil has a daily goal. I personally don't have a daily goal. And so you could set that. You hit your daily goal, you walk away. That's one thing. Obviously, you could hit a max loss. Right, but it looks like you're talking about, just taking your winners and getting out of dodge. Hard to say, because you always, you could say to yourself, yeah, I see that really good setup. I'm leaving money on the table. I think it's really a psychology game at that point, right? So you're going to have to resolve that within yourself. Personally, I really have never thought through the issue because it's not been something that's, that's really come up a whole lot for me, quite frankly. So just giving my opinion on that. Anytime, if you guys want to chime, I know you guys are in a trade. So, but if you had anything to say about that, we'll definitely want to hear from you guys. Now, the other thing is we're still at 17.5. So nothing has happened right now post auction on the futures. We're still literally hanging out at 17.5, a smidge above, a smidge below. We haven't reclaimed it or rejected it. So I'm unsure how to take trades at the moment right now on not just the future, but on the Mag 7, because that's what I've been watching. So I'm watching Softy because it's a little bit of unusual strength coming in here. It's still down 3 1/4. I want to see where this one is going to top out at. It initially had resistance at the 20. It didn't hold up at the 50, and now it is really on its way to a 1/3 retracement from yesterday's close to today's low. Right now, it's almost 1/3 of the way back. That's number one. Number two, I'm keeping an eye also on goggles. Goggles had a very strong day as well. Look at that V-shaped retracement, but it's kind of put in a bit of a rounded top at that $half level, just a little bit below the $half level. 156.40, it's now given up the ghost at the whole dollar level, and it's about to break the 50 penny level. I want to see if this one holds up at 155. Couple of reasons. It's the consolidation area top in the pre. It's also where the 50 period is. So let's see if this one curls and tanks back down, or whether it finds its footing. Still, nothing is resolving here on the future. We're like 17.492. I'm unsure exactly how to see this Adara. So as a result of that, I'm not going to take any trades on the Mag 7 at the moment.
Yeah, it's a really tricky time to trade right now. I said way too many like alliteration there, but yeah, it's like kind of definitely seeing a lot of oscillation between levels, a lot of chop and turn. We're just waiting to kind of figure out, get a sense of direction. So I think oscillating has kind of been the theme of the day as of right now. After that move up there, Sean's saying let's go, so he's getting excited.
The Katina Man is short Meta. The Katina Man is short Nvidia and Apple, both, all three.
So shout out to that, and you can check that out on more Trader TV Live.
You're feeling bullish? Okay.
That was a joke. I was gonna say, after that stack of bears we had earlier, that'd be quite.
I thought he was scalping. Short 444 on 440 on Meta. Sorry. Yes.
It's like the JC album 444.
Yeah, it's lost my concentration there
because it's like $440.40.
Yeah.
It's bamboozling. I had the same reaction. Also, let's get going into these lessons. I was very excited about today's lesson. I was pleased as punch, you might say. And I'm weirdly at the end of the PowerPoint, so let's go back. Here we go. Scalping bull flags, capturing fleeting profits in the bull flag. So the bull flag will beckon to be like, come over here with the promise of an uptrend. But who says you have to wait for the big move? Scalping offers a way to capitalize on short-term price fluctuations within the bull flag pattern. Let's get into it. So what is scalping? It's like a butterfly flitting from flower to flower, gathering nectar, going to one tree, then going to another. And scalping is going to be really similar in its essence because you're going from one part of the chart to the next, You have specific levels perhaps in mind. Maybe the butterfly favors a couple different flowers. It's going between, could be like that. And when you scalp, you're kind of trying to get small, quick profits from tiny price movements within a trading range. Now, let's talk about your scalping playground, and that is the bull flag. With its defined range, like the flower gardens say, the bull flag provides a nice environment for scalping, and the consolidation phase especially will offer numerous opportunities to exploit short-term price swings. Here's one example. This is a nice one. This is just like kind of how it might look sometimes. You have your move up, and then look at this chop and turn we have within the flag formation. That will give you some bounce opportunities to get in and out of the trade if you feel a bit scalpy. And then you have your breakout. So let's talk about scalping strategies in a bull flag. I'll talk a lot about scalpulation, but how do you know to get into the scalp in the first place? Because there's a lot of different ways to look at it. Support and resistance is a really key one, and this is personally, I think, my favorite for scalping, especially with planning my profit takers and my stops. You want to identify the upper and lower trend lines of the flag and then buy near support and sell near the resistance level, or the sell near resistance and buy near support if you're short, because the goal is to profit from the price bouncing between these levels. It's like a trampoline. It's like, or bounce like a basketball, like the up and the down. That's what you want to get involved in. Moving averages here also, you might want to use the short-term moving averages, and I do this a lot as well with my 9 EMA, to identify potential entry and exit points, buy when the price crosses above the moving average, indicating upward momentum, and then sell when it falls below, signaling a potential pullback. Price action as well. You want to look at how the price reacts at the edges of the flag, look for quick reversals after touching the trend lines, and which allows you to enter and exit positions based on these short-term movements. What about going beyond the basics, below the surface, deep into the heart of what makes this butterfly fly from flower to flower? I've got too deep in that analogy. What makes this market move here? And how do you scalp in this way? Because there is the allure of frequent profits, the oasis, the imagery in your mind, but you have to keep some things in mind too. Scalping is super fast paced and you have to constantly monitor it. Like Sharif knows if I'm in a scalp, that is all I'm looking at.
Oh yeah.
I am like glued. And if I'm not looking at my big chart, it's on my side chart and I'm ready to punch out with a viciousness. Like, you have to have your eyes on the prize because it can get real dicey in there real fast. And so you do need quick decision making. It also has smaller profits. So because you have tiny price movements, you have to expect smaller gains as well, which also means you have to make your losses smaller and also make sure that you just consistently execute. And that's why I've been trying to get better over the last few days at just making sure if I see something I like, keep hitting it with a viciousness. I smacked my own hand there for some reason. But yeah, that's what I was trying to do with that NVDL today, right? Every time it came into my levels, either direction, you just have to take it. So that's one thing about scalping that I find really fun. That's also, I think, maybe one of the more challenging elements to get used to at first. Trading fees are also worth noting because scalping does involve frequent trades, and trading fees can eat away, erode your profits. So you want to choose a platform with lower fees. Also, beware of breakouts. Naturally, if you're getting involved in a bull flag, you're going to be cognizant of the fact it could break out without you. So maybe don't go short at the top of the trend, or if you do so, be very cognizant of your stop loss or your ways to mitigate that risk. And you might want to combine scalping strategies with technical indicators like order flow analysis to gauge buying pressure and selling pressure to enhance and beef up your entry and exit points and your profit. Cha-ching. So yeah, that's the look on that lesson of the day, which I was very excited about. Scalpulation Nation.
I love it. And since you started, the market has done absolutely nothing. Still ranging sideways at 17.5. I mean, I took a quick scalp on the Tqqs. Now I'm looking at getting in at the top end of the range. I'm talking about that $52.30 area on the Tqqs to defend or look for the rejection. I think defend is the wrong word here. That 17.5 level on the NQ. But since that happened, a few other things happened as well. Apple came right back down into 169. It is defending $169, right back up into 169.12. So that level, which was yesterday's close, continues to feature as either a level of resistance or support. Earlier, it did act as support now. Resistance now acting as support. Also, goggles right back into 155 at the 50. This is the area that we mentioned. We're looking for a possible hold up here at the 50 period on Google. Not saying that it's going to hold up at this area, but something to be aware of. There's another couple of reasons. This area here is the consolidation area top in the pre. I know the pre does less volume, but it is, again, something to keep in mind. The thing that keeps me concerned is Nvidia, because I think as Nvidia does, as the NQ does these days anyway, and Nvidia is putting in higher highs and higher lows, okay? This morning, we got as low as 777s in the pre on Nvidia. Now we're talking about 826, so $50 worth of range on Nvidia on the day. That's a fantastic move. Nvidia now up, started the day negative, up 3 2/3% on the day. So we'll keep eyes on that. I'm not going to trade Nvidia, but I want to see what this future does. And yeah, it really is. Who's pulling the future down here? I mean, like, what's keeping the future down? It's not Meta. Meta's on the way up. It's not Microsoft. Microsoft is curling up. Apple's flat. Tesla's flat, and Nvidia's going up. So it's goggles. The Katina Man thinks it's Apple in 170 that's keeping this market down. I tend to agree. I mean, it tried to go earlier, and then it had that rejection, that 170.61 HOD. Right now on AAPL, it was a bit of a tougher trade if you were very biased, like I was, at 170 short sale. Because, you had to either DCA into this in order to get your footing under you, or you got stopped out a plethora of times, or however many times, or you didn't put a stop, period, right? Because if you had a stop somewhere, reasonable, I don't know, 170 and a quarter, 170.50, all of them got blown out. It was a 170.61 HOD. At least I would have been stopped out. I'm just talking about myself here. So anyway, keeping an eye on that. The market still hasn't resolved one way or another, so I'm staying clear of any trades right now on the Mag 7 until this market figures out a direction, and it may not. While the market figures out its life and its circumstances there, the soft one doesn't care. It's on the way up. It hasn't quite broken through that 1/3 retracement on the fibs quite yet, but it is still putting in higher lows. So no question about that. Softy, an excellent recovery off the bottom there, and a sustained slow recovery at that. You haven't had aggressive bamboozlement on this way up, which makes me feel bad for not trading it to the high side. That's my problem, not yours. Keeping an eye out. Okay, so 155 did hold, and the 50 period absolutely did hold here on goggles. Nice move up into the $0.50 here. Should have put my money where my mouth is on that one, but I didn't want to jump in because of the future. So kind of hard for me, you know, at the moment, missing out on this trade, but that 155 holds up on the 50 on goggles. Where are we here with the future? Still nothing's afoot. Let's have a look at some small cap gappers. What happened to this money one, MNY? Okay, so it's printing days high. Shout out to Fat Figga, man. Look, good call out by you, Fat Figga. I just can't trade this because, number one, it's a little spready for a $2 name. It's a 5-penny spread. Why the hell is it 5 pennies at these levels? It's done 6 million shares, which isn't that much by 120 for a $2 name. But the fact of the matter is printing higher highs and higher lows. I hope you're printing on it, Fat Figga, because that is a good look there. In the exact opposite way of YYGH. What? Yeah, I know. We've been dealing with that for a while because he's had that name forever. Shout out to him. Yeah, one of the OGs in the chat. That's no doubt about that.
Yeah, that's a nice look there. Also, thank you, Stupid Bitcoin. So we mentioned that RBRK, it's hard to say that name casually. Right. RBRK, that IPO, we did talk about that a little bit earlier. So we'll bring this back up here again, saying it's a live IPO, 60K average volume. Shout out to Jay Lee saying earlier, I think he got out most if not all of this. So shout out to you. I think you had like 3803s or something. That's a great price. Great look there at RBRK. Right now, let's switch to the 1 minute because I think with these IPOs, sometimes you want to see that 1 minute look. This base here at 38, honestly, this 38 to 38.40 is kind of tasty, and I should have been looking at that.
Are you all about the base?
All about that base. No trouble. I'm all about that, but I also don't want any trouble in this trade. So we're going to have to be careful there. That is for dang sure. But yeah, right now, rubric seems to be following this rubric of this VWAP area. We had a little bit of chop and turn below VWAP, now bouncing off just above VWAP, so that's something I want to look at. Also, though, my TQ, okay, well, someone's roaring, so
yes,
I think Happy Bears are here again, it sounds like. Meta, Nvidia, Apple?
Meta?
Yes.
440.40 Meta, Nvidia 826.60. 826-ish, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. 826.50. So nice look there. Nvidia, yeah, Sean killing it with that NVDA. TQ is breaking down. Okay, this is interesting, but we still haven't gotten below my level. I wanted to see 52.06. We keep bouncing at 52.08. So I'm going to stay at this for now. The plan of this was to scalp. I might have to scalp this earlier. I like that 52.30 area because we had that nice 90 MA bounce. We have the one that, like, these candles are a little bit bearish, which is why I'm very cautious. But, risking about like 9 pennies, trying to get into that 52.30. So I'm okay trying to make about 15, risking about 9 pennies. Again, my very strange mathematical risk to reward ratios. But I like that 90 MA bounce for now, so I'm going to stay in this. We're going to be calm, stay cool, calm, collected. 3 things that I'm not always great at being, especially in these markets, which is why I like scalping, because you get to move a little bit faster. But I do like this look for now. We're going to try to get out just shy of 30s. Let's go, TQQs. Do your thing. 21. NVDA, though, I still like this short idea on NVDA that Sean is short 826.50. So, yeah, quite a few dollars in the money there. Congrats. Yeah, I honestly, sorry, pardon?
Bidding 821.
821 bid for NVDA for Sean. So that will be, I have to get under my TQ. It's going to be $5 in the money. What's the right key on this? There we go. Okay. We are out of TQs. Bit of a loss there. I said TQs have been my weakest name today. It's all good. We're still up on the day.
Baby.
And all good, baby. Yeah, but it was not all a dream. This market is real, and it's live, and it's giving you opportunities.
Yes.
Keep the dream alive.
Everything is headed down now except Tesla. Everything's curling down. The soft one, Meta is headed down. The Fuge, goggles, chart, as well as, Nvidia is definitely headed down. It's $3 off the top, baby. So yeah, some stuff. Things are happening finally in the Fuge. Okay, so now how are we going to work this in? I want to see what we're going to do here. So Meta at the 20 period, big retracement off that 441 top. Here comes 435 in that 20 period. Below the 20 period is the 50 period, believe it or not. 420 to 432 and 2/3. So keep that in mind there. Softies at the 10 period as well. Apple's doing its dance. So this is a range trade here starting to take place on Apple. As soon as I said that, Adara jumped in. I love it. No, it's only been a little while here, Adara, with that 169.25 to the high side and essentially yesterday's closing print at 169 to the low side. It's been a decent time here for Apple. There was that outlying event that got us into the $0.50, but it since has reclaimed that same level again. Shout out to the Katina man. He's short these markets, baby, and he's printing. Say that again? He's bidding on Nvidia at 821. So he changed it to 822. He's moving that up a bit. That's still a 4-banger off the top. Shout out to him. Like Tate McRae. You know she's Canadian?
Yeah.
She's from Alberta. The Katina man knows. He's printing. He's sure.
Really?
I did not know that. No, I did not know. I don't like hockey. By Canadiana. Yeah, she's a prairie girl like you.
Oh yeah, she's
There you go.
I guess Alberta's maybe more prairie than we are, but yeah.
Oh.
Shout out to Tate McRae. Shout out to her. I love that we're shouting out young Canadians there. So go, Sean. Did not know she was at the NHL All-Star game.
Neither did I.
Also, this FBL, this is how I'm going to trade Meta. If I could short this, I'd probably short this here because I like that kind of consolidation and move to the downside. I'm not comfortable taking Meta while live trading because I am still very new. But you know what is ranging? Rangy as heck, I might add. Tesla. Look at this.
What is it doing?
Like, oh my gosh, this 164, what is it, 164.80 top, down into 163.90. The one thing that makes me nervous is we are seeing slightly higher lows. But honestly, then I'll go, I have no problem going long there. I mean, we'll go long the bottom here, 68 or 684. Yeah, I was gonna say we're gonna go low, but that only gives you like 2 or 3 pennies. Like the amount of shares I'd have to take with this, I don't know if it's gonna be worth it for R&R. So I'm going to keep an eye on this. I am interested, but I definitely want to wait to make sure I have a level I like. Also, I wanted to do my analysis on the Tesla because shout out to Craig Taylor saying, because I was saying, oh, I guess I got my analysis wrong on that TQQ short. He said you should never do your analysis on the TQQ, only on the Qs with a plethora of exclamation points. So I appreciate you saying that because I think that's a good point. Because I can trade with the little sister, but I'm not going to really get the same vibe, you know, as I will if I look at the big sisters, so the Qs or Tesla or Nvidia. So thank you very much for that, Craig Taylor. Much appreciated. I love that we're always able in this chat, in this community, to get ideas and learn from each other. But someone's taking its bite out of that tasteful apple range.
I'm trying to trade this range. We'll see if the range ends up holding up here on the Apple. What's going on, Katina, man? The 170 short. Oh, sorry, yeah, Apple. Yeah, you're still holding that, eh? Ridiculous, man. Yep. Look. Okay, well, I was going to read it out. Top right corner, I've been handed the sticky note, 170SS, means short sale. Already short here in the pre. Thanks, Katina, man. Shout. Yes, it did. It did. 170.50, we talked about that big pop on Apple to bamboozle some the weaker traders like myself who would have been stopped out of that 170. I would definitely not have given it, I promise you that, to 170.61. So that's kind of my look there. We're long Apple now at 04s, looking for this range to hold up. The future is down into 75. It's not tanking, but it is down off that 17.5 touch. I'm looking at Tesla here, and for whatever reason, there is this accumulation that's happening at 165. So we're getting all these topping tail candles into 165 bucks, all of which are rejecting, but not with any vigor. And we're on top of that putting in higher lows on each subsequent candle. So there's an accumulation, possibly a flat top break here through 165 on Tesla. I saw somebody in the chat say it looked like a bear flag, and they're not wrong. Actually, that's an astute observation there. I got to tell you the truth. But, you know, not everything that we see that looks similar to a pattern ends up being a pattern, but that's a good observation by you. If we break 165 with vigor here, I think we could easily see that 166.5 top, if not a 167 break. That's essentially the high of day. 166.88 is the high of day on TSLA. What else is popping off? Up goes the future again, looking to take that 500 point level. So yeah, I mean, I just didn't feel like we had tanked off that level in the way that I was looking for, but the retracement came in, at least initially, off 17.5, took us down to 17.4 and a third, and it's helping a lot of these Mag 7 names find its footing. Look at the soft one. It went right down into the 50 period, which is overlapping with the 20 period, mind you, and now it's putting a bit of a hammer candle-ish. The 395 bottom there, right back into that 395 and 2/3. So we'll keep eyes on that as well. The range on Apple at least holding up for now. It's not really doing a whole lot. We're a few pennies in the money, nothing to celebrate, trust me. Trust me, bro. Do you know about that? You don't know about the Trust Me, bro?
What is this from? It sounds
Oh, I'm going to have to tell you off camera.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Okay.
you will be informed about the Trust Me, bro. But it is quite funny. Google. Okay, so I mentioned this one earlier, and this is absolutely holding up. Goggles is holding up very well at 155. It's also the 50-period moving average. It's also the pre-market consolidation top. Nice move, 50 penny banger off that move there, Adara. Let's see if Goggles can make it back to the high side here.
Yeah, I mean, I love this take on the market from Kenny D here.
Woo.
Buy calls and sleep. So yeah, definitely the market feeling that a little bit,
Okay.
including Baba. Lots of people mentioning, Darwin saying Baba 75, Baba Candy, HPR Romania, mentioning Bob. Wow, Alibaba. Look at this volume pop too. This is a flat top break if I've ever seen one.
Oh,
Look at
yes.
this, 74.90.
Wow, that's excellent.
Higher highs. Oh, higher lows. This is a nice look. Beautiful breakout. Shout out to Neil for having that long early, because we know this one had that nice move up and then it fell a little bit as Janet Yellen made some mentions of China and China's economic situation. I don't know if that's exactly what made this move down, but worth noting the timing of that. So nice. Oh, you're still in, Baba. Sorry, I did not realize that. Oh, new position. Okay. Oh, so yeah, Neil. Still in Baba, new position, a reload there. So shout out and yeah, shout out to Neil for that nice look here on BABA. Also, I'm still looking at Roblox. This one's been on my mind. I think this could be a bull flag. And I kind of want to get involved as much as this is not my type of trade. But I do like that we're consolidating. We had that massive move up. You know what, Adara? You like it? Get involved. I want to get involved at 35.48. We'll risk it if we break below 35.49. I don't think we're going to get it. I think I might be too late to the party, but hopefully it lets me into the party nonetheless, because I would love to join and dance with Roblox to the upside. Also, NVDL, I tried to take a short scalp on this. It didn't work, but I'm proud I got it exactly where I needed to. So I got it initially on this because this was a resistance area. And then we had that chop and turn earlier, came to support. We fell right into that NVDL. We chopped and turned again. I should have gone long this, and that's a lesson I've learned. But I wanted to go short because I noticed we were kind of fading there a little bit. Got short, risked 10 pennies there, got out. So please just punch with how I executed the trade. I've learned sometimes even if the trade doesn't work in your favor, you can learn a lot just by getting out in a clean way and everything you do within the trade, right? Like each trade is an opportunity to learn how to react to that situation, react to that movement, take the opportunity to get involved and just see what happens. So that's a huge thing I've learned. Memphis Street Doc saying volume's too low on Roblox. Volume's like, yeah, 4.6 mil. It's not great volume. I should have looked at that more too. Thank you, Memphis Street Doc, for pointing that one out. I mean, it's a pretty small position. It's just, again, something I want to just practice getting involved in names. I'm not even sure I'll be able to get into this because we're about 5 pennies away and I don't want to be chasing waterfalls here. So, you know what I mean? I need to give the stock all that TLC. We're going to wait and see. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Stick to the trend lines and the patterns you're used to. I need to stop singing. But Snapchat cannot stop moving ahead of its earnings today.
Yeah.
This nice little curl continue. There were some nice dip buy opportunities off this 9 EMA. Yeah, this one moved up in a snap. I have to say, it'll be interesting to see how these earnings go. Meta, we know, mentioned AI. That went down. Microsoft and Google, we're going to have to see, because I saw some analyst notes this morning, just some analyst market people, market reporters just saying, hey, maybe the market's getting tired of AI mentions, because Zuck was very into the AI and the markets did not like all those AI mentions, all the CapEx. So we're gonna have to see if some of these AI related names fare.
Apple's on the way down, so I get stopped out of that position as the market moves up and Apple moves down. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. And Tesla moving up nicely there through 165 again. So Apple, a bit counter market at the moment, but Tesla isn't. Tesla's doing real well at the moment here through 165, looking at 165.50. So we'll keep an eye on that. Amazon as well moving up. Literally all the Mag 7 names except Apple on the high side at the moment. So we tried to establish this range on Apple. Alas, it was not to be. So we will keep eyes on this market. Now, is it time here to take the TQQs long? Oh, we're short the TQQs at this level, so I had a resting order at 30s, so we'll see exactly what we're going to get here, right back into those highs, but I think that we do take these highs out, so I'm going to give this one a bit of a short leash here on the TQQs. Adara, I just sent it to you to put my stop.
Yeah, I wish I had something to say to you guys. Yeah, I appreciate everybody apparently very down for waterfalls. Someone was like, I was listening to waterfalls, so good times there. I honestly, if anyone's seeing anything they like, let me know. Roblox, I definitely missed the move on that, and I have no interest in chasing, so I'm going to have to wait. Thank you, D420 Meds Music. I love that name. It's giving me something to look at here. Do you think the IWM will break 196 today? I used to trade this one quite frequently in the sim. It's not one I'm comfortable trading live yet with my buying power, but I say yet because we learn and grow, and who knows. This IWM breaking 196, this is an interesting look. I pushed back on my chair because I got excited there. But yeah, so I see what you mean. We had this move down. When I did the small cap recap, IWM was feeling some type of way, but it was starting to curl back up. We had definitely some resistance at that earlier resistance area, 195.40. Then we top and turn around VWAP a bit, come back, make a slightly higher high, ride the 90 MA for a bit, get the way up, knock on the door of 196, and then we come back down to that previous area. Then we come right back up. We're creeping towards 196. I think the resilience of this, to me, gives me a sign maybe we could get into 196, but it is noting the volume with which we fell from that 196 area outweighed the volume with which we got towards that 196 area. So there seems to be some sellers lurking under the water in this IWM. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to see what happens here. I think it does seem like it wants to get to that level, and by that, when I say it wants to, I mean we have that continued movement. Every time we get a little bit lower here, we keep moving to the upside. So we're gonna have to see what IWM does. Right now, about 20 pennies away. Nicole Harris here with the super
Shout
chat.
out to Hotlanta, baby. Shout out to Nicole Harris. $5 super chat. Thank you very much, Nicole. I mentioned NEM on the chat around 10 a.m. Now it's really moving. Can you have a look at the levels, please? Happy Thursday, family. Happy Thursday to you, Nicole. Shout out one of the definite OGs in the chat, Nicole Harris, baby. Shout out to Atlanta. All right, let's have a look at NEM. This one is Newmont. We mentioned this one a little bit earlier. This one is a big banger earnings winner. Shout out to Alfred and his investment in that company. I know that he loves this one. So with respect to levels, let's pull this bad boy up. NEM, the ticker. Okay, so right away, I see a bit of divergence here between price and RSI. So I don't know. I'm not trying to call tops, obviously, on anything. I think did I call this earlier that there was price RSI divergence on this?
I think you did, yeah.
On Newmont? Yeah, so then if it's a second time, it's definitely not a charm here, but we're putting in lower highs on the RSI, not necessarily lower highs on the price. So keep that in mind, Nicole. With respect to getting in on this name, I think your best bet is to try to get in on the 10-period moving average. That's the green solid line, all the retracements into the 10-period. Each and every single one has been bought up subsequent to this one over here at 10:05 a.m. So I think, you know, I'm not trying to say you're safe or anything buying up the 10-period, but it seems to be the safest of the bets if I had to choose at the moment. So good look there, and it looks like this market absolutely is headed back up into the highs. 15,525. Don't forget about that level. That is the overnight high on the future. We're about a few points away from that right now at 17,516. So we'll see if we can break the top there on the future. I'll tell you, Nvidia high a day, and that's probably the reason why we're at the near the high day on the futures right now. Nvidia continues to print high of days, higher highs, higher lows for the monster. It's up almost now 4% on the day. It's looking to take that 830 level and come back into yesterday's high. Yesterday high takes us into that 840. I think at the highest was 845. I think these were institutional level prints. Subsequent to the bell, it was at 840 level that we have to be concerned of. That's about $12 though from where we're currently trading. So a ways away a little bit. Let's see if we can make it all the way back up there. The soft one though, right back up. This is a mystery. I should have had one. I should have had this. This was a beautiful looking hammer candle, and there you go to the high side. Go Softy. We could see 400 today on Softy. I mean, we really could. 397 incoming, 396.76 right now is the high. But if it continues to have its way, I think we could easily see that 400 print come in on Microsoft on the day. There comes 525. We broke high day now on the future. It is a new high of day, 17,531, and that's taking all these Mag 7 names a little bit higher. Softy and Nvidia, chief among them. They're both printing high days right now. We're off highs on mostly everything else. Actually, Amazon just printed highs as well. It's a bit of a slower, steady trade there for Amazon coming into that 173 area, but it just printed a new high of day. There.
That new always makes me think of crank that. Like soldier, why we crank that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that new, and that soldier. Yeah, so it always makes me think of that.
Did you do that dance?
Oh, I couldn't. I remember we had a sock hop in like grade 4 and everybody was doing that and I did not know what I was doing. I was like awkwardly watching other people trying to copy the move.
Love it.
I never did the dance.
And neither did I.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess I know there was like a lot of that, but yeah, SoFi right now doing a lot of this movement to the upside. I was trying to get involved in this. Yeah, this is kind of an excessive amount of entry points, I realize, but I'm interested. If I get 50s and 49s, I'm okay with that. I'm getting out if we break below 47s, and I'm willing to actually ride this guy to the high side a little bit more. I want to see what we do at 54s, then at 57s. I'm just trying to build a position. I don't think we'll get filled. I think my timing on this was a skosh late. I got involved right before we had that nice, or I was trying to get involved right before we had the nice pop to the upside, so I should probably, we might have to cancel these. I don't think we're going to get this opportunity. Also, this is a sign to me. I'm like, Adara, why'd you only risk 2 pennies on SoFi? If I'd risked 1 extra penny, we would have got everything we wanted on that trade. So that's one thing. I think I was a little bit too, maybe too conservative with my risk there for that SoFi, because risking only 2 pennies for like a 3, that wasn't probably the vibe.
Camping.
It's
Are
amazing.
You seeing this? We're about to hit 50 points here, 17,550. As quickly as we broke through the 100-point level at 500, we're about to touch the 50-point level. And there's Nvidia 830. Everything is pumping up right now. Even Apple got off the lows there, reclaim 169. Wowzers. How do we play this, though? Just not punching in at these longs. It's just not my style. Tougher play. Tougher play here. What do we look at? I want to mention this as well. Mara, what a recovery today on Mara. This one dipped aggressively. It was down like 6% on the day. Mara's up 6% since the bell. It's still down 1/5% on the day. This one dipped aggressively into 1750, and now we're breaking through 19 again. Do we have, no, BPI is not here. I was going to ask him what his look on Mara was, but he's not at his desk at the moment. Yeah, we'll keep eyes on Mara. I just want to mention that for all the crypto heads out there. That one was able to recover nicely off the highs. So good look there. Man, I'm just not, I don't have the read on this market at the moment. Yeah, I'm gonna stay put. That retracement into the 200 period on the future was the long there. All right, well, what else do we have over here? Day trader cut. Neil always says sometimes you have to buy high and sell higher. Don't mind the pump. Get in, brother. You're right, man. I mean, that's absolutely right. It's absolutely accurate. You're not always going to buy at lows and sell high. That's a pipe dream. You got to sometimes buy high and sell higher. It's just, where do I get in? I need nice areas of retracement. So I'm just going to pack my patience here. There's about 20 minutes left on the show. We'll see what we get.
Yeah, I'm trying to get involved in Mara here. I want to join that marathon to the upside.
Ooh.
I don't know if this is going to work. I don't like that we weren't able to break above that 1910 high, but I think there's some scalping potential here. It is scalp day or for the bull flags, and I love scalpulation over here on this desk. So I want to see what happens here. I like this 1890, then I want to add at 1885, which in my opinion is the true bottom of this. If we break below 1880, so pretty tight risk. And I mean, when I always want to look for the breakthrough with the viciousness, right? If we like bounce, I'm cool staying in. In fact, that gives me confidence in the trade. If we break down with the viciousness, we're gonna have to cut that marathon short and end up, you know, getting driven the rest of the way through to that marathon, because that's not gonna end up working for me. Let's wait and see what happens. I think I might have been again a little bit too conservative with my entry point. So we're gonna switch this to 95s. Not trying to chase, but just watching what this market's giving me. If the market wants to give me a higher high and or higher low and I want a long, who the heck am I to complain? Go ahead, Mara. Do your thing, 21.
21.
Rob P saying Mara needs to break 1920. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that's definitely a resistance area. I'm interested in just scalping this to high of day. Like that, you know what I mean? That's kind of my vibe. If I can take like 15, 20 pennies on this, that's always something I'll be interested in. SMCI is going, says King Bradicus.
Oh.
I love that name. Lots of people have mentioned this one. Up 5%. I mean, King Bradicus, you are not at all wrong. But I just really want to say the name again because it's a great name. This SMCI, definitely to the upside. Riding this 90 MA. Very few troubles either on its way to the upside. Nothing, if it did have a problem, it was just a micro problem. This has been a super look to the upside. I want to see what we do here, though, at the 796. I said that, though, when we got to 774 and we struggled. A stock can have a big move up and take a pause to breathe before continuing its momentum. So I do not at all want to say anything bad about this SMCI here. I'm just going to be watching and see if we break that 800. We know sometimes a stock getting to a key level, especially 100, like, you know, $5, $10 level, especially $100 level.
Oh, yeah.
SMCI 800 could get a skosh spicy here. It's the word I keep using to refer to SMCI. But if we're not calling SMCI spicy, what stock can we call spicy, Sheree? Really? Really?
I don't know, Adara. I like how you're the one telling me what can be called spicy. Do the people know?
I have a spice tolerance of a really small child. Like
I don't know why you describe it like that.
I
though.
cannot have any
like I
spice.
don't like
Sometimes
spicy.
I can't even have pizza sauce. Certain pizza sauces I can't even do. Some marinara sauces are too much.
love it.
Sharif will always come back, like he'll come back from the big desk. He'll be like, "Is it spicy?" And I'll be like, "Yes or no."
And I offer to taste it for sometimes, but I got the Invisalign on, and that's a whole project to take that stuff off. So it's a whole thing. Guys, we're at the 20 period again on Meta. And this is very interesting to me because the 20 period held last time around. The 20 period is a little low from where we are right now. So I could sit there at 436.5, but I don't know if we make it down there, especially with this wick already coming down into that 436 3/4. So we're right now at 437.5, but yeah, you know how Meta is. It moves 30, 40 pennies at a time sometimes, like it's doing right now. But the point is, it's holding that 20 period, and we're not really tanking here off the future. We did find resistance at the 50-point level on the NQ June contract, which has helped some of these Mag 7 names retrace. That is unless its name is Apple. Apple seems to be moving completely counter to the market today. When the market comes down and retraces, Apple goes back up, and vice versa. That's a little annoying because we've been trying to time some of these range trades with Apple with the market. Alas, it did not work. So I will here be interested in a trade on the Zucker train at these levels. I do like the 20 period hold, so we're going to try to take a dip trade and we get long there. Line in the sand is going to be a break of 436, so we'll pack our patience on that. We're long 436.95s. Let's see if we can get a bounce back up on these here markets. What else are we looking at? Sofi's been dancing with 397 for a while. Up goes Meta, so we'll take some, we'll try to take beak wetter there, but you know how Meta is. Meta makes you wait, and there it is, baby. Nice little move up, 40 penny winner on Meta. Let's see if we can make it back to 440 or thereabouts. It is a decent hold at the moment of the 20 period moving average on Meta, and the future popped back up a little bit since I got in, so please just punch with that. Almost $1 in the money on this Meta trade.
Congrats.
Let's see if we can move up into 440, Adara. That would be just ideal.
I mean, I hope you get your move into 440. I am in the future, or I'm in the TQs. So, I mean, I really want that there. I took this because I like that kind of wick here. I like that we resisted in that earlier pop into 52.40, which, by the way, is my stop. And I said, you know what, Adara? this is not your type of trade, but in some ways it is. You did have that resistance. You had that nice little support area. You watched, you waited, you were patient. We didn't even break below 52.50s when you got in. I don't know, I'm talking to myself, the people, but it's all good. I like the TQs, and I'm excited. I'm actually waiting for a high of day break, which is very out of character for me, but we're a couple pennies away. Once we break above, I want all the smoke. I'm taking this. We're taking names. And I'm really proud of myself for taking this trade because I liked it. Oh my gosh, high of day break. I swear my stomach did like a drop there. This was like,
I have to show you up, bro.
I'm really
I have
proud.
to show you up. Good for you.
Thank you so much.
Good for
don't know how
you.
much higher we're gonna push here, but I'd like to see at least 70s. That would be certainly pleasing for me, pleasing as punch. The rest of these Mag 7 names getting a nice little pop. So are these TQs. This is, wow, we're gonna take 75s. We'll take 75s. No, we'll take 73s. I just want to get out of this. So happy with this, guys. I'm very happy as well. I got to take this trade in front of everybody here. I'm like getting a little red in the face a bit. That was a roller coaster, but it was a roller coaster that was really fun to take. And someone as well was saying in the chat, like, you know, sometimes, or as Neil says, buy high and sell higher sometimes. Times I got the dip I wanted. I took that opportunity, and we never got into Mara. So Mara's doing nothing, but I'm still waiting.
Nice.
How are you doing?
Good. We took that buck on a little bit more actually on Meta, and then it went another $1. So yeah, that's okay. We'll try to work on the patience game over time. Nice move though. Happy with it. Very positive on Meta today. It's been by far my best stock on the day. We've taken this long. We've taken it short. And I was going to say everything in between, but there's really nothing else. It's either long or short, baby. So we'll keep eyes on that. The soft one is on the way up, baby. I can't believe this recovery on Microsoft today and on a lot of these names, quite frankly. Great moves up for all of them. We're not at high a days on everything, but we are a high a day on Microsoft, high a day on Nvidia, and very close to high a day on Google. We are printing high of day now on the future. I think we probably see 17.6. Guys, we were as low as 17.3. It's going to be, if we get to 17.6, it's going to be another 300-point day. That's what we look for as day traders. We don't necessarily care whether we close up or down as long as that there is that intraday volatility to present us with opportunity for profit taking. And today it has been there. Okay, and tomorrow it might be there as well. We do get the Federal Reserve's preferred measure of inflation, the PCE. Keep your eye out on that. The last few prints have all come a little high, and that's gotten a lot of talk in these markets about whether we're going to cut this year. Brendo telling me this morning that we're going as far deep as December. There are no more price cuts priced in by odds makers for these markets. Obviously, the Fed has their opinion about how things are going to go. They had the dot plot, Katina Man, and the dot plot said 3 rate cuts, echoing what they said in December. Nothing changed. We will see if they're accurate and whether they follow through with what they've said because, well, these markets are doing things. And but what I did like today was we got a weaker GDP print.
That's true.
If you're looking for a little bit of softness in the market. Right, I mean, like if the market's printing, if you're printing a 3 and 4 handle every month on the growth of the economy, why would you hit the brakes? I mean,
Right?
I'm sorry, why would you start cutting? Right? I mean, I don't know.
That makes sense.
So
Yeah. I mean, this market doesn't make much sense. So this has been like such a move. I'm really happy with it. TQQ trade.
Yeah, I'm really happy for you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I decided to leave Mara be because I think she's gonna just need to run on her own a little bit. You know, some people like to run like with people. Some people like to run solo. I didn't have an area. It didn't get into an area I liked on Mara. I didn't want to go chasing, so I had to let it leave. Congrats to Bears versus Bulls cashing out on some. Now having SPY puts overnight and now cashing out on some SPY calls. So shout out to you being bearish and bullish. Living up to the name there is Bears versus Bulls. This has been such a fun market to look at and be a part of. Let's look at that rubric, that IPO from earlier. It's just such a good move. Thank you guys. Thank you this community. This has just been such a fun day, I think, and hopefully rewarding and fun for everybody. Neil calling that 38 area a couple minutes ago in the chat. Neil said that's going to be the last time rubric bounces off 38. Who was right? Neil Roberts. So yeah, we broke down here on this rubric, RBRK. And I would call this, Sharif, can you use your button here?
Oh my good, on what? The
Flat
flat
bottom
bottom? Absolutely, wow, that was a hell of a flat bottom break, baby. Chee!
Lower highs, flat bottom, swoop to the downside, or sorry, quaduk to the downside for this RBRK. I don't know how many people are trading this. I know Stupid Bitcoin mentioned it. And I know also Jay Lee said he was involved in this earlier. So shout out to you. I think this certainly there were some opportunities there. Mara continuing to kind of curl here, so we're going to have to see what this does. Someone earlier was saying, why do you guys only look at Mara? And I mean, we can look at some other stuff too. Let's look at Coin. Let's look at some of these other Bitcoin-related names, because why not? I just think Mara, as someone was saying in the chat as well, Mara tends to move with a swiftness that I think is really fun for day trading. Coin, though, also moving really nicely here. Kind of a similar look here, higher highs, higher lows. Also, I'll say for myself, the reason I trade Mara is because as someone who recently went live, I find it a little bit more affordable and more manageable for my trading style. There is also Con L, though, which volume not bad on this. This is the Coin ETF.
Oh, I remember you said that.
CONL. This one up 1.6 billion shares, so not great, but definitely not negligible, to use a Sharifism either. So take a quick look at Tesla before I pass it over. Tesla trying to make this, oh, this is a nice look on Tesla. Tesla trying to break into 166.50. Let's see if the Cybertruck has enough room to vroom to the upside.
Well, if they open these doors, maybe they will. Guys, B-A-C-K. I wrote Mara because Daryl was talking about Mara. I didn't actually. Why are you sorry? It's me who should be sorry here. B-A-C-K, big boy mover showing up here. The volume just coming in on this monster. It's been halted a couple of times now to the high side. The first here at 480. That was a 10-minute halt, so pack your patience. It may not open up in 5. Then we rocketed up again, 635. Halted, $6.35 is the halt price. I'll tell you the tap super quick on this bad boy over here. BACK, $7.48 right now is the tap. That's $1.13 away north of the current closing halt price right now on BACK. What is this monster? iMac, say neat. He's like, bring back the Big Mac. Yeah. iMac Holdings owns and manages health and wellness centers that deliver sports medicine, orthopedic care, and restorative joint and tissue therapies for movement, yada, yada, yada. Guys, it's a $7.33 million market cap, and that's with a move from a closing print of 350 yesterday to 635 right now. So literally, yesterday was a $3 million market cap. The float, you ask. Nobody asked, but I'm going to tell you. 948,000 shares. Minuscule float, sub 1 million. Be careful with this one. This one could absolutely rip your face off, both good and bad. Let's find out if there is a short float worth reporting. Yes, it's not negligible. 6.25% of the float is shorted, so keep that in mind when you are looking to go north. And it probably behooves us here to do the daily chart analysis so we can figure out where these shorts could be at. So this is a former runner. You can clearly see that from the zigzagging chart. It opens up. It has a monster move up. It has a move down. It's been moving bigly. It really started moving here in March. It had a good day in March to $4, and then started putting in higher lows. So this is not a bad look here. This company's been putting in higher highs and higher lows, but it is bamboozling. I mean, look at this kind of candle over here. You get in at $5.50, $5, and it ends up closing at $3.63. Not a bad look. For all my small cap traders, BACK could provide you opportunities into the afternoon, Adair.
Yeah, I mean, certainly no looking back, back. Nice levels there. Also, this was from earlier that I forgot to say from the boring manager, shout out to you, saying that you took a buck on Zuck. So,
oh,
yeah.
I did.
Yeah,
that's a sick one. I like that.
Right?
I
saw that and I was like, I have to find this because I forgot. So shout out to that.
Can I complain about this trade a little bit? Didn't I say 440? Why do I do that?
It's a great look, though.
Why do I do that?
As a scalper, I can't really call. You know what I mean? Like, I take what I want.
I got you.
I think shout out to you. You did have your buck on Zuck.
It's okay. Buck on Zuck. I love that.
There you go.
I like that. It's very good.
And you didn't play Zuck Goose with your profits, which I also think
I didn't, yeah.
You took those profits.
It's nice to see you, Adair.
So shout out to you. Yeah, you know, and you didn't need good Zuck. You just did it without, you didn't need luck
Which
on that.
Zuck was it? Mr. Steal Your Data or Mr. Steal Your Girl? I love that. I love that.
That's so funny. Yeah. Also, what else was happening here? There was something. Oh, yeah, Donnie Zimbabwe, thank you so much for your super chat. $4.99 super chat from Donnie Zimbabwe. Holy crap. 825, 830, and Nvidia call sold. Ring that bell, y'all. Heart. So shout out to you. Can we ring that? Maybe we can spend the money there.
Absolutely.
I was trying to set my buttons.
You don't have to convince me to do that.
Thank you. We know this was Shereen's favorite. When he was watching, when he was in the chat, he loved making Sean spin that money button. So yeah, shout out to Donnie Zimbabwe. He's making that money, money, money. Congrats to you. It is always, I think it's always nice sometimes too. It's like you have that move up and then you just get out. You celebrate and you keep going. And I think, I want to say too, I'm really proud of this Tqqq trade, and I want to talk about it for a second as well, if I may. Because one thing, and this is what I think FOMO is really hard, and I think I honestly have it more sometimes when I don't scalp. And I want to explain why that is. Because if I scalp, I know I have a plan. I said, I just want to take this to high of day because that would be something that's a little bit scarier for me. So I just want to make sure I clinch those profits. So even though we did make it a higher, we'd have made it about like, what, 20, 24 pennies higher, but I wouldn't have felt as comfortable in that because sometimes too, is if you stay in longer, you end up losing. And I've said sometimes FOMO can make you lose more. So I'm just happy I have my 18 pennies because I followed my plan for it. And I'm pleased as punch about that. So, and I know that's kind of, I guess, a simplistic way of looking at it because FOMO is a very complicated thing and FOMO can manifest in different ways for different people. But I found, at least for myself, I sometimes avoid FOMO, ironically, by just getting out a little bit earlier and then knowing if the opportunity sets up again, we can get back in and hopefully, you know, make less L's and take more M's. Shout out to Mr. 21 Savage. Yeah, this has been such a fun day. Day Trader Cut, thank you. Happy you're here. Get some hotkeys, says Memphis Street Doc. Yeah, I need to get some more keys set up there. That is for sure.
That's all good.
AMD, Curtis Sipes mentioning AMD. We haven't seen a lot of mentions of AMD today, or I've seen them in the chat, but I haven't looked at this, so that's my bad. This AMD had a nice little long extended bull flag, then flooped to the upside. That's a nice look. Let's see what we do here at this 9 EMA. Where we're kind of looking to bounce. But yeah, sorry for this wick here. Higher highs, higher lows for the most part. AMD hasn't really had an AM dump. Or not much AM downside. So let's, 2 minutes left. This is crazy.
Yeah, I was looking for the video because I know I screen captured me bothering Sean on the show, like, and he was reading out my comment.
Oh
yeah,
my
I will
gosh.
find it. I will find it. I wanna find that. Yeah, man. I had like a dedicated TV to the show, so I set up my
you told me
and like the Katina man and Neil were like part of the fam every day for me, waking up, and that was during the pandemic too, so everybody and their mother cousin was home, right? All right, guys, a couple of minutes left on the show. It's been a very, very volatile day today. We obviously had that GDP number. The jobless claims come in early at 8:30. That precipitated a big down move in this market. But as you can see by looking at the chart on the futures, we have been incrementally making our way back up. Meta also reported big after the earnings yesterday, and it tanked as big as I've seen since 2021. We could get more of that. We have Microsoft today. We have Goggles today. Big, big Mag 7 names. Make sure to catch that with Adara now and the Katina Man on the Market Recap Show. They're going to have that all for you live, baby. Two big names that are reporting today, and I'm sure we're going to have plenty to trade tomorrow after these names report. Can't wait. It's going to be a hell of a Friday. And like you mentioned, there's a whole host of companies that are reporting tomorrow morning.
I mean, I'm excited. We'll give you the intel on Intel. We'll give you Snap and a Snap. We'll see what's streaming on Roku. Woo! We're going to give you too many puns there to end the day.
All good.
But yeah, it's been a really fun day, guys. As Off Grid says, no FOMO, only JOMO, and I couldn't agree more. And you certainly don't have to have the joy of missing out on the next show. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Brendan's going to help you though over in the big
guys.
Back to the upside we go here. 2 o'clock, welcome back in. Couple hours left to go on what's turning into. I mean, we're 0.5% away from being positive on the day here once again for both the NASDAQ